Bobby, how much time and effort goes into making an hour and 20-minute long full length BMX video?
A lot. It's a lot. Tried to ballpark the math, and I think I put in 250 hours over the course of 5 or 6 weeks, and it was a lot. It was like I sat in this position on this couch for 12 plus hours a day for 6 days a week. Um, the one off day was a day that I still kept one of my clients and went to their office all day, which was really hard because I was just on full nocturnal mode. I would stay up until 5 a.m. and then I'd be editing until 4, and then I'd be like, okay, I got to watch what I've done, and I'd start it at the beginning and then just be laying here until 5:20 a.m. and then like, all right, I'm going to bed.
So here we are, everyone, with Bobby Kanode of the Kanode Knows podcast, who just recently released Mediocre at Best II, an almost hour and 20-minute long full length BMX video with sections from all these people. And we just got done recording a 3-hour podcast for his end. We're doing a double header today, recording mine now.
A little talking marathon, if you will.
Voice is going to be worn out, but it's worth it. So if you haven't seen the one with me on his, check it out. And we're going to get in talking more focused about the video that he just recently released. And did you just say that you edited like the whole thing over a 5-week period?
Pretty much. Yeah. I remember I posted the promo and I didn't have anything really edited. I edited a version of Nick Bonnell's banger part 5 months ago, but then completely redid it in the last week leading up to the premiere. So yeah, I made that happen in a 5 week period.
Wow.
It's actually crazy.
No kidding.
It reminded me of college cramming for a test, and then it entirely consumed me. Like no thought. I'd be out front taking a break, talking to my girl, and she'd be saying something, and then just one of the songs would just be playing in my head as she's talking. And her lips are moving, but all I hear is, "This looks like a job for me."
And you're like, oh, I need to cut that clip like
Yeah.
a half a second, a little bit, line it up with the beat, and oh, maybe we'll use this one first.
Yeah. The wild thing to think about is there's no clip that's longer than like 5 seconds. So for an hour and 20 minutes, it's like 5 second clips at a time.
Gosh. So 5 seconds is 30. No, is that 30? No. What's 5 divided by 60? That's
Why can't I think of that answer right now? 15?
and 15.
No, 12. There we go.
So 12 clips a minute on average. Multiply that by 80, 12 times 80, and you're upwards of like 1,000 clips.
Yeah. Woo!
That's crazy.
All with the right place to be, Like we talked on our episode of it's just feel, and it goes off of feel, and I made sure I would spend a couple days on each person's part and just get them assembled, and then you get the whole thing kind of laid out, and then you go and you get the skeleton, and then you build the muscles. The muscles would be like the polishing and the audio, and then you sprinkle on some skin and some sparkles, and that's the effects and the visuals and stuff and B-roll. And shoot, I wish I could go back. It was so fun. While I was in it, I was kind of freaking out, but now that I'm out of it, I was like, that was the best 5 weeks ever. Because I wasn't just alone cooking, editing. I invited people over to this place.
Yeah.
I wish I had a time lapse of me working, because there's Joey Mada and Geoff Wescott and Eric Berlinski, and everybody is just like on a standing rotation. And I let myself tap back into that young energy of just being a drunk mess until 5 a.m. It was fun.
Can you do me a favor? Can you tap your mic for me? We're not using that mic.
Oh, we got to use it.
I wondered why it sounded a little different, so
Hello.
there we go.
Cool.
Anyways, so 5 weeks of a manic editing episode later,
Panic for sure.
and you get an hour, 20-minute long full-length video.
Yeah.
When did Mediocre at Best 1 come out?
2013 or 14. I think 13. Yeah, December 13th, 2013.
Why make another one after 12 years?
I kind of I kept going with Lightworks. Lightworks was technically mediocre too, but it didn't. It felt like a separate project. Like so, mediocre at best, full length, 2013, and then 5 years later, put out Lightworks, 2018, and that's all at night. Also an hour long. Also way too big of a ambitious goal to do, but we pulled it off. And then that's when I was like, I'm done. And Joey Mada met up with me at a coffee shop to get a copy of the video. And Mada's been the heart of it all. Like he's the reason the first one happened. I filmed a part of him and we were gonna give it to Felt Bikes. I showed him what I made and he was like, yeah, just hang on to it, make a full length. I was like, okay. So I sat on Joey's part and then finished Drew, LaShawn, Troy, Dean, everybody, and made the first one, which felt magical, and it was because of Joey. And then Lightworks is done. We meet up. I give him a copy. I'm like, dude, I'm never doing it again. And there's something about Joey where he didn't say anything profound. He was just like, you gotta do it. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing it. And then I like the feeling of having something bigger than me to work on that, like, and I went through a lot of like depressive states, but I think that having something to look forward to and to finish and be responsible for kept me going, especially during some dark times. And yeah, man, for the first 3 or 4 years of this second one, I was like completely doubting it. I was putting my effort into making my own business and making money and being an adult and all this stuff. And then I don't know, Clay Johnson's a big reason that this happened too. So it's Joey started it, and then Clay and Robbie really took like the leadership role. Like let's get out every Sunday. They're like regimented about it. And so the first wave of filming and that crew was all Clay and Robbie, and Clay kept saying like we're gonna hit him over the head with this one, and I was like, no, it's gonna suck. I hate it all. My lens is dirty. I'm not filming well, blah, blah, blah. And then when I finished it, I was like, Clay, you were right. This is fucking awesome.
That's great. That's super great.
I think the why stems from the original one I wanted to do because I saw a happy medium. I was at the first skate video premiere for a happy medium, and it was in a movie theater and everybody was going nuts. And I was like, I think I could do that for BMX. And so we did that. And then no real why for the third one, other than it feels right. A trilogy is a good way to go out. You can't just do two.
In the premiere for the first one, did everyone go nuts like in that skate video?
Yeah, it was everything I hoped for. It was great. Cool thing about technology is that we live streamed this last one, so I can relive the premiere.
That's awesome.
Which is fucking awesome. If I could go back in time and see the other two, because the first premiere, I remember I hadn't slept for 2 days because I finished the video like 2 hours before premiere time. Lightworks, I don't really remember because of partying. And this one, I was way more present there. And I was like, hello, everyone. It's cool to be here instead of like Lightworks. I was all nervous. I was chugging Fireball in the corner, and there's ecstasy involved. So it's just, towards like once the video's like nearing the end, it starts hitting, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, it's party time. That was a dark chapter of life for sure.
That's funny. The full length video I made that I did a premiere of at a movie theater, everyone was quiet for the whole thing. I think because they were in a movie theater and didn't know that they could like, it was just us and we could actually make noise. So it was like,
yeah.
And it was in the middle of COVID, so it was like
middle of COVID, no bueno.
It was just a little awkward, honestly, where I don't think anyone knew how to actually act while they were watching.
Yeah, they're all being quiet and snapping, just like nice trick.
Like you can get excited here. It was funny, but so between podcasts here recording, you told me to watch the intro. I watched Clay's part, which his was first, I'm thinking, based on after the intro. So I watched his, I watched Zack Beerley's, I watched a couple other people's who had been posted online before the full length one was posted. But you made a comment about some controversy with the Eminem song at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted, I didn't see any controversy or hear
Nah,
any.
no, it was internal. It was the making the intro was a fun process, and I'm glad that I do the things the way I do, because I made a version that I liked that was just like reminiscent of the first video. It was a Bone Thug song, and it was kind of slower paced, and it was pretty much all my dog for 2 or 3 minutes. And then I showed, I think it was Maloof, and he was like, it's a little trip worshipy, and I was like, yeah, and it's like that made me double down. I was like, I know I want it to be trip, but I think he's right. And then my girl said, it should hit you in the face. Like, this is kind of dull for what it is. And I was like, okay. And then I had the thought 2 days earlier, randomly, I know every word to Eminem without me. And I was like, okay, let's fuck with it. And I started messing with it. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And then I spent, I don't know, 20 hours making that intro. And I sent it to Dimitri, who's got a real breakout part in the video, and he said Eminem ? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I think Clay's gonna be bummed. I was like, fuck, I think you might be right. But then I don't know, it's perfect. It's one of those things where it's like, I'd rather have something that makes some people hate it and people love it than just something that's safe and cool. So
Yeah,
it feels good.
that feeling thing, we talked about it in the other podcast, but there's just something about when you find the right song and you feel it while you're listening to it. And it's so funny, the process of finding that song, because you can hear 0.5 seconds of a song and you're like, nope, next.
Yeah, 100%. Never even listen to the whole song. I'm just listening for like, I don't even know, the frequency of the fucking bagpipes in the background or whatever. Like, when you know. And I think that's one of the most time consuming parts of that process is I've never listened to so much music back to back to back to back. And it's only 5 seconds of the song at a time. You just play, you skip, and then listen to 5 seconds, and you're like, that's not it. Next. There's hours of that sitting in my car listening to music. And then when you find it, though, it's like, oh, there can only be one Highlander.
And it's funny, and it sucks too that there'll be a lot of times where you get 30 seconds into a song and you're like, oh, this is perfect. Then they ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you guys do that?
The vocals come in and I'm like, oh man,
it was so good. Then you blew it.
I think I've come full circle on vocals and music too. Like lyrics. I think I used to only edit to like trap and witch beats, and I really shied away from any lyrics. But I've kind of come around to, I don't know. For me, I never was like moved by words in a song. Like I never really cared about lyrics. I cared about the beat. I cared about how it sounds. And then the vocals I'm like, you don't even need these, but now I get it. And then it works. But the vocals are so important. If you're going to have somebody singing on a track, and I'm going to use it in this, dude, Zack Beerley suggested, there's a country person named Zoe Quetzal or something, and the song is like, is it Sunday or is it Monday? And it's so lame. And he loved it so much, and I was like, dude, no, I can't. And so I spent a week finding the Charlie Crockett song, and when I found that song, I was like, this is it. I collaborate with the writer on like the genre, but I'll never give them the final say, except for Clay. Clay got to pick his banger song, and he had that laid out for a long time. But everybody else, I was like, no, I'm choosing. Troy Blair also had strong influence. He said, let's use Michael Jackson. I started listening to some Michael Jackson songs. Madonna popped up on the suggestions, and I was like, how about this one? And we played a Madonna song, and I think it's going to be the song of the summer.
That's funny. I did that with the full length I made, where my buddy and I, Cody, who was in it, we were joking around about using Nickelback for his part. And he was like, we were joking. And then he kind of got serious. He was like, I think, I want to do it. And then, but dude, honestly, it might be all around, it might be my favorite part in the whole video, aside from the banger, just because of what writing is in the banger. But because the song is a Nickelback song about like life and not taking things for granted and things. And dude, I'm getting chills saying this because this kid who I was making the part for, I have clips of him from when he was like 11 or 12 years old all the way to him being an adult in this video. So the video part is him growing up to a Nickelback song about like life and not taking things for granted.
Special. Yeah.
And it ended up being like this joke turned out to be the perfect thing. And that we talked earlier about how that's like what you're searching for, is that feeling.
Yeah. And you know when it's there and you know when it's not there. And sometimes you're like, fuck, is Nickelback really doing it for me right now? Like, you check your goosebumps? Yeah, okay, I guess we're using Nickelback, too.
Check your goosebumps is such a relatable term. Oh my God. That's
like, yeah, I guess that's it. Okay. I guess I'm crying to Nickelback.
Oh, too good. What was with the quotes at the beginning in the intro?
I wanted to fill space and use the Bone Thugs Ouija Are You With Me? And then I also wanted to market it as the feel good flick of the summer. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, fucking here we go. I think I had already done editing wise. I used the yellow captions throughout and people kept commenting on it. Like, that's fucking new age. That's different. And I was like, that's cool. And then I was like, it might as well at the beginning. But I wanted to do an homage to the first intro, which uses Ouija Are You With Me? Momurda, 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 and have that going. And I couldn't figure out what to do with it. And I was just like, let's do quotes. And then Cody Clark's is a real one. He's one of the Wonder Twins that knows manuals, and he kind of fell off and just drinks. And I texted him to link up, and he said, for what? Mediocre isn't mediocre anymore. And I was like, all right. And then when I was making the video, I was like, fuck you, Cody, here you go. That's in there forever. He apologized. It's fine. But that, and then like the team group chat, I was like, okay, boys, you got quotes, just input from anybody. And Clay's quote was going to be in a Dig article. Dean lives in New Jersey. It's just giving a little bit of context of this has been going a long time. Nick left the group chat because he's salty at BMX 2 years ago. Like he can't handle discussing BMX or anything. Like he's over it. Joey Mada, that's special to me because you should totally do another full length, is the whole reason that 7 years of my life got dedicated to that. That's so insane. And he was here a lot for editing. So I don't know. I giggled at it at first and then just decided to stay with it.
That mediocre isn't mediocre anymore kind of resonated with me, because when you think about like the level of riding of everyone throughout the past decade, 20 years, 40 years, whatever, what was mediocre 10 years ago is like people's warm-ups today. Yeah. And it really, like, it was true. It was like, damn, that is fact.
That's I had two meanings, because he's what he meant is mediocre was special because of him and because of Drew Hosselton and because of LaShawn Kobza, and now they're gone, so it's not mediocre anymore. And I'm like, I beg to differ. It's mediocre is the video I put my heart into,
Yeah. Damn, I didn't see that was context that I would have never even gotten.
Yeah.
Because I took it as him talking about like the actual definition of the word mediocre.
Yep. And it's always been ironic. The riding in the first video is top notch, like world class biking. Yeah. The riding in this one is also, I wouldn't say world class, but fucking good. It's good.
From what I've seen is solid.
Yeah. It's not like earth shattering, but it's I don't know, for me it's special. It's so trippy to think that I was there for everything. Trippy. Like, and I filmed every single clip in that fucking video, except for like 4. He
said trippy as the intro is trip.
Yeah.
That when dude said STF you trip and it went with dude, that got me. I laughed out loud, like hard.
Hell yeah.
Because it was just funny.
Trip, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Pretty good.
That was me.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. And I couldn't think of a better intro. I don't know if you saw the first one, but the intro to the first one is like a choreographed party line throughout Deck Park with 20 riders involved, and it goes on for a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It's fucking nuts. And so people are like, are you going to do another one? And we tried for the second video, we tried for Lightworks, and it's just nothing could ever top it. So I was just like, let's acknowledge it in a little bit of a dialogue with Clay. Like, that was organic. I was like, you guys want to go try the party line? And Clay was just like, what's that? He knows damn well what it is, but it just wasn't going to happen. And so when I was thinking about looking through all the footage, Tripp's there on so many sessions, I was like, he could be the glue that brings everybody together. And most of the riders in the video have a clip dapping Tripp up, which feels cool.
That is really
cool. He's going to be the DVD cover. He is the shirts.
Available now at where?
Shopmediocre.com.
There you go. It'll be linked in the description. Support.
You know the vibes.
Support people who doing cool shit.
Dude, the Tripp shirt was a hot commodity on premiere night. It was fucking really cool. Shout out my sister for running the merch stand.
That's awesome. And I think one day you're going to be really freaking glad that you did that with the intro and the cover and all of that. You're gonna remember
Fuck,
forever.
Make me emotional.
I'm sorry. But it's true. Like, you're going to be really, really happy with yourself.
Your dog's going to die.
I'm sorry. We're trying to get the whole gamut of emotions in this podcast, man. We're designing it as we go.
I felt myself starting to tear up thinking about Tripp dying. And I'm like, hold on. No, we don't need to. No.
Pause. But I do remember seeing that party line from the first one, because I remember how extravagant all of that had to have been. And was that a moment of like just pure organic, like, we're here, let's do it? Or did you guys plan it?
I can't remember. It took 2 different full days of attempting it. We got one on one day. It's really hard to remember the inspiration for it. I think it might have been, it must have been some smaller scale party line. And I was like, that seems fun. Let's try it. And I didn't plan on using it for the intro. I just wanted to try and do a party line, which I still kind of want to do. And invite all the local riders here and just try one for fun. But it's such a fun process. Like, the first day that we did it, we only had like 10 people there and we got something. But when I got home and reviewed it, I was like, this ain't quite it. So I texted the boys like, let's try again next Sunday. And so that was, 10 hours of trying on that Sunday. We go the next time. And now there's homies in town like Rob DeQuattro and Eric Elstrin and Tammy and who else? There's a couple of out-of-towners there. And it took a long time, and Dean jumped from bike to bike to start it he did that over 75 times, which is insane. Oh my gosh. And just I loved it. I loved it. I'm going to skate over here, meet you here, and just working it until the one happened. It was like a good 6-7 hours on the second day. And then that magic happened. And fun fact, Eric Ballman messes up his ice pick at the end, loops out, and then everybody dogpiles him, and I'm filming the whole thing. But at some point, I accidentally hit stop recording. So like the whole celebration is gone. That's why it abruptly cuts, because I fucked up. And I'm like, well, that's perfect. That's on brand. It's cool to have a name like Mediocre, because then when you fuck up, it's just like, yeah, I meant to.
That's the worst feeling ever, when you realize that happened.
Oh, fucking A. Have you done that? Missed an important clip?
Dude. Yeah. I've not only missed important clips, I've filmed important clips and accidentally deleted them. Sponge's first flare on an actual ramp, I deleted it, or I don't know what happened. So we had to do another one. I filmed a clip at the skate park for Lip Lords and then accidentally deleted it while I was there and had to do it again.
Yeah.
Just super stupid stuff. Not getting audio for whatever reason, or when you film.
What's your biggest fuck up?
Oh God, that's a hard one to like pin down off the top of my head. I mean, I felt terrible about deleting or misplacing Sponge's flare.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that's special too, because it's his first one ever.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just on a ramp. He did it as a transfer. And it was just an awesome moment. I'd have to say that one off the top of my head.
Sorry, Sponge.
Yeah, my bad. He did another one and it was good, and he did a double crank flip before it. So like, swag.
It works out.
He did a double crank flip over a spine and then flared a quarter. So
Sponge is fucking awesome. The X-Up nose you showed me is crazy.
yeah, and
crazy.
So I can't pin down my biggest mess up other than things like that.
I had just gotten hired by Sabrosa. We're gonna go to Woodward to compete in the Woodward Shootout video contest. I left my camera bag in my house and drove with everybody to Woodward and got there and realized, I was like, oh, fuck.
Before you could film with an iPhone if you had to.
Yeah, no iPhones. I think iPhones existed, but you couldn't film with them. And my dad overnighted it and we ended up winning. So I'm pretty proud of that fuck up. It's like, I won and I fucked up still.
Whoa.
Ronnie just reminded me, I left the camera on top of a trash can at a gas station on a trip in like Atlanta or something. I don't remember it, but I was like, that sounds right. I did that.
I left my parents' DSLR at a indoor skate park one time.
Classic.
Luckily, I called them like frantically, got a hold of whoever I could to find out that it was still there. Thank God some people are decent with integrity, and I was able to drive down and go get it, but stuff like that. Yeah.
I took a Greyhound bus to visit my ex in LA, and then I brought everything, my hard drive, my camera, my laptop, and left it on the Greyhound bus when we stopped to go to the bathroom. Like, we take a bathroom break. The Greyhound's not going anywhere. I sprint because I know it's going to be quick, and I'm taking a shit as fast as I can. Sprint back. It's maybe been 3 minutes. But what happened was everybody else got off the bus. They realized that the gas station right there was closed. So they're like, okay, everybody back on. And they left within 45 seconds. And I had already sprinted to the restaurant to go to the bathroom. So there goes my everything, hard drive, camera, and laptop.
Gone.
I called Greyhound station, like, please check this, blah, blah, blah. But whoever was sitting behind me was just like, thank you. And then went about their way. And I had to... That was like as I was finishing the first video too. So like all the clips are gone, but I have all the tapes. So I spent days capturing footage again and just basically starting over. It was many lessons learned. I'm pretty good with keeping track of my camera shit these days.
Dude.
But,
are you good with like file management?
Yeah, I've like forced myself to get better at it. I wasn't always, but then when you start doing this at a scale that you're doing it for a living and it's just like constant, then my file management is pretty dialed in, like folder wise and titling everything. It's so tedious, but when you're capturing footage from a tape, it's like an extra, 45 minutes each tape to go through and title each clip. But title for this video, I put the prefix of like MAB2, then the writer's name, the spot, and the trick. And if I'll find, like, if I get lazy and don't do that, then it's a nightmare later on. So it's like, I'll suffer now so I can suffer less later. I don't know. But in general, I'm very not type A or detail oriented at all. But you got to, like, if you're going to be a professional videographer, you got to get it together.
You can't be trying to organize P16754382.mov.
Exactly.
Like, what is that again?
Exactly. And then, mistakes happen. Like, there's 3 or 4 clips in total from the 7 years that are just gone. And Robbie has so much footage that he's like, I can't really think. And then something will pop up. He's like, oh, the manual gap into the ditch. And I'm like, fuck, I have no clue where that is, man. And I start going through tapes, but there's, I don't know, 150 tapes. I don't know. Let's play a game.
Okay. Let's play a game. I'm into this. I'm assuming we're getting the tapes.
Yeah.
In a nice little Dan's Comp bag. Shout out to Dan's Comp. Jeez. Are you about to count, or are you gonna...
We take guesses. How many tapes are in here? I'll count them later.
Okay, so we need to make a prize. We need to make a prize for this. What's the prize?
Let's do a gold VX.
Gold VX for whoever watches this podcast. I'll clip this out and post it on Instagram everywhere. Whoever can say how many tapes it took to film Mediocre at Best 2 will win a gold VX.
Let's go. That's fun.
That is fun.
I kind of want to guess too. I want a gold VX, but it's
Yeah,
not
what-
gonna be. It's not gonna be a functional VX. It's just gonna be a little trophy piece. I got 4 busted ones over there that I'll spray paint. But it looks sick, dude. I love it.
I mean, hold that up in front of you because I'm kind of covering it, dude. You know what? That's got to be our thumbnail. Give me a nice smile there. Perfect.
There we go.
That is awesome, and I know people will be stoked to win that. I have a fucking trophy case full of gold, spray painted gold things, so I need to guess that right. I am gonna put my guess out there now, and I'm gonna say 114.
All right, 114.
There we go. So, gold elephant in the room. You filmed it all with VX and had to ingest footage and all of that. And you told me earlier that you are done with
Absolutely. I'd like to never capture a tape again. I like filming with it. It's a cool camera, but the process of getting what I shot onto the computer with like, usually you have a capture cam. My capture cam has died several times.
Yeah.
So it got to a point where I'm using the VX, then that gets worn, the heads get ruined, and it doesn't work out. So then I'm borrowing Zack Beerley's DVX, and the cable is like a FireWire cable to a lightning bolt adapter to a USB-C adapter. So there's 3 fucking dongles in between. And if I move the cable wrong a little bit or it gets tangled up, it loses connection. So I have to like get it in the right spot and don't touch it again and just hit play and just very tense, like hope. And then there's been times where I sit here for 2 hours troubleshooting, just getting it to connect. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't care. And I move on and get over the video. It was torture. It's a nightmare.
Did you not look into some of the methods of recording to a SD card with one of those?
Yeah, I got one of those, and then just the fact that it's like plugged into an outlet on the actual camera that's like loose and it could come undone and just super not trustworthy, to the point where I was like, okay, I'll just film on tape and film to the SD card. And it's like, it's just, then it's an extra weight and it's awkward, and I just never trusted it. I think for something not a trick, like if you're just filming B-roll, I think that's great. Because then if it doesn't work, then it's not the end of the world. But like for a banger, I'll be damned if I have some device that just fizzes out. That would suck.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't rely on something unreliable for a one-time only thing.
Yeah. And even that was hard because you have to get an adapter because it's some weird, crazy P2 bullshit. Not P2, but some other kind of memory card that's not traditional. Whatever. I tried it. You're not the first to tell me that. You got to
I just wondered if you did.
5 different people, yeah. And I hear good things, like it works and it's cool, but I'm done, man.
I'm just done.
After our conversation, I'm excited to film with the iPhone. Like I'm nervous about. I have really good gear for work, but it's like I don't want to film close with a fisheye with $7,000 in my hand. Like that's
real.
It doesn't feel good.
Props to the people who do that.
Yeah.
They have their red cameras and filming with their crazy equipment, their $500 red mag. But there's something about the ease of just using one of these. And I'd be curious too, because you did say you used an iPhone for second angles. How did you find the matching process? Were you able to kind of make an iPhone look like it?
There's a shit, it's not in there anymore. There was a version of Dimitri's part where I color corrected it. In Troy and Dean's part, his unlucky 180 at Deck Park, the second angle is color corrected to like mute the colors and lower the saturation and like just a couple different things, just doing it by eye, that I was like, that looks good. Literally the rest of the video is not color corrected at all. Like at all. I didn't color correct any VX footage. I didn't color correct any iPhone footage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It just kind of worked out beautifully.
Wow.
It's not that bad. Like Joey's part, the beginning, he does a tire ride down a massive hubba, and I can't even tell, the stationary shot just looks good. It's similar enough colors.
Huh. I know people like to say that 3CCD sensor is a color thing. I don't know if VXs have that or not, but I know that's
Yeah.
that's a thing with those cameras that everyone uses as like their reasoning. I just love the way it captures blues and greens and
Yeah.
and whatever. So
Yeah.
I just am of a mindset of like, well, if you film in RAW with your phone, then you should be able to recreate anything you
Oh,
want.
for sure. Exactly. Yeah. That took me a long time to learn that filming in log raw is not about like it's just about capturing all the data,
Yep.
and then you make it look good in post versus having it look good baked in the camera.
Which is great when you can be good at that, but
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like doing it at first. It also was a pain in the ass at first because Premiere it just didn't make it easy to do unless you were filming with a red, in red raw, whatever that was, because they would only let you use those certain editing tools.
Right.
But now it's great. You can use lumetric color on everything and color match. Have you ever used that? Dude, it actually works really well.
It's magic. Yeah. It's cool.
That's awesome.
I've rarely used log. There was a phase where I was like, I want to be like the big boys and use log for everything. And I'd do talking head content for clients and then have to go back and color grade. And it's like, what the fuck am I doing? It's no good. There's times where you said it in the other one where it's like, if there's super brights and super darks in one shot, then I'll film log. Yep. But aside from that, never.
It's not worth the extra time that it takes to figure it all out and make it look good and color match other footage if you're doing that.
Yeah, that's always a headache.
Yeah. So you were saying 7 years is how long you filmed for this video.
Yeah, when I was going through it, well, technically, Geoff Wescott has a clip in there from like 2015.
So 10.
Yeah, but that's just one clip. And then 2018 was when I filmed, I think, the first one. Oh man, I just knew it. But I want to say the first clip for this video was Joey doing a cool ditch gap, doing an ET, and that was like early 2018. And then I found footage. It's funny because I kept saying this is 5 years, but it's fucking 7. It's crazy. Yeah.
Crazy how fast time goes, especially when you're just steadily trying to film and things. So was it all in your area or did you travel? How'd that?
Yeah. It's all Arizona. That's not true. There's a couple Cali clips of Geoff and I, because for work, I would go out. Jamil had a spot on Venice Beach, and I had a couple free days that Geoff and I met up and mediocre at beach, dude.
Ooh, that's a behind the scenes video to go on YouTube.
Mediocre at beach. But all Arizona. We did a couple of trips to some surrounding little towns like Globe, and did you know there's a Miami, Arizona?
I did not.
It's like an hour away, and it has a one cellar door, and we rode that. The couple of different Flagstaff and Sedona trips, but the majority of it is just picking an intersection here in Phoenix, meeting there in the summer. We would meet up at 6:30, 7 a.m. Those were fun days, dude. Like Sunday morning, downtown, the city's quiet as hell. It's me, Josh Bagar, Robbie, Clay, Morty, and Robbie's trying one clip. And then Clay's at the store. Clay pulls up with a 6-pack of beers, fucking, bright and early, 7:30, 8 a.m. Just good vibes, very fun. And it's a different, I don't know, I miss the morning sessions. I hated getting up to do it, but the vibe when you're out there early working is cool. I cannot ride early in the morning. It takes me until 4 p.m. to be like ready.
I think that's a normal thing. I'm pretty sure it's normal for people to have to get their bearings togetger to be able to do what
these
they
fools
can do.
Would wake up and do bangers for breakfast, man. It's crazy.
That's sick when you could do that for sure.
Yeah.
When you're talking about getting all these guys together, and we're talking about Mediocre at Best 2, your third full length, I can't help but think about those memes that you see where it's like a picture of someone's Xbox Live name and says seen years ago or whatever. And there's those memes where people talk about how like it's a sad thing that one day you're going to have the last day hanging out with all your buds and not even know that it was the last day you were all going to be together. And to realize through making this second video that you're postponing that day as long as possible is kind of a special thing in my eyes.
I agree. It's like that phrase, you don't know you're in the good old days until they're over.
Yeah.
And boy, is that true no matter what. So it's just a matter of appreciating the present moment.
Yeah, man, you got to not let the good old days become the good old days. If you stay steadily living in the good old days, recognizing them while you're there, you never have to leave.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
It really is. And I think it's really cool to bring people together and keep them together. And like, even if you don't do another full length video, I'm sure you'll keep some.
Yeah, we're closer than ever. It's cool. I think I'll get out with them tomorrow. And the feeling of not having to drag a VX out is pretty dope. I was cheesing, dude. Last weekend we met up and rode, and I was leaving. Stephanie's here watching me leave, and I'm smiling. She's like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't have to bring a camera back, dude. This is so good."
Were you? Do you still bring a bag, or are you just going?
Nah, just fucking me and a bike. It's fucking cool.
I don't even know.
And now that I know how to you taught me your workflow for getting clips from the phone to the computer, which I could have just Googled, but I just never did over the past 7 years, 10 years, whatever. Yeah. I'm excited to do a little iPhone piece. That'll be fun.
Yeah, dude. And when you use actual USB-C data cable with like high transfer speeds, it's
like instant.
So damn fast to transfer stuff. Yeah.
I just learned that like last year that there's differences in USB-C cables.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And the speed.
There's been differences in micro USB cables. I learned that through PC gaming, where there's charging cables and data cables, and you can't use a controller with a charging cable.
Yeah.
So you find out, and then the same, like the USB cable that Apple sends with their phones is actually like the USB-C is USB 2 speeds, and you have to buy a faster data rate transfer cable.
Wow.
To actually experience the fastest possible everything.
Transfer.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh.
Yeah.
I might have to, I don't know if I don't know how to tell. Whatever.
Test the speed in like Blackmagic, the app that they have. And what's even crazier about it is that the prices of the cables are like the same. It just doesn't make any sense.
$20 for fast or $20 for slow? Which one would you like?
Yeah. I have big bold letters here in the notes that I took between podcasts. Heel clicker crank flip. What the hell?
That's Joey.
What the hell? That's like is that just something he can just do?
Yeah, he was the heel clicker crank flip guy. I'm trying to remember the first one, because he did the heel click. He hit that clip of the heel clicker crank flip is a throwback to like 2010, 2009, and I'm trying to remember that day. I think he intentionally did that. I'll tell you the fucking later on in his part, he does crank flip and a half Superman on the same spot.
Yeah.
That was accidental. He wanted to just Superman, and he lined himself up, and his feet he does his crank flips right foot forward, but he rides regular left foot forward. And after he crank flipped out of the wall ride, he landed right foot forward, hit the box jump, and without thinking about it, flicked them, and then did a Superman. Somehow landed. He landed left foot forward, so it was a crank flip and a half Superman. Yep. And you can hear it in the clip. I left it in. He goes, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then you cut to Fisheye, and he does it again, and it's like intentional and fucking beautiful. He said, "My legs are too froggy. We can't use that." I was like, "Fuck you! It's incredible."
That is so strange, because that's exactly how I do crank flips. And if I do a no foot can crank flip, oftentimes it'll be 1.5, and I'll land normal left foot forward from kicking it right foot forward.
It seems magical to me. I don't know how you fuckers do it.
When you do enough of them, and you do enough crank flips in general, you just get used to catching wrong foot. Yeah. No matter what. And so it just, you look down, and wherever your cranks end up being is where you put your feet.
That's where your feet go. Yeah. Makes sense. Just works out. But yeah, I can't even crank flip.
Well, I'm sure you can nose manual, and I can't even begin to nose manual. So it works out that way.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Some shit's easy for some people.
I would love to hear about some of like the standout clips in your eyes, whether it's crazy or just a cool thing, just whatever
Yeah.
comes up to your mind.
That's fun to think about. Are you able to pause this? Can I go to the bathroom?
I don't care.
All right.
All right, we're back. We're good.
Our bladders are empty. I was like, why am I peeing so much? And then I look around and I got 2 drinks over here, 2 drinks over here, water bottle over here.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever I went to pee when we were filming for yours, I was this close to becoming like the lady who was holding a wee for a wee. And I felt like this is what it was like when you die from holding it in.
That's respect. I will hold this until it hurts.
Yeah, that's right. So the last thing
Standout clips.
Yeah, standout clips.
I think for Clay, I'll try and go through in order.
Yeah, let's do it.
Clay had to work pretty hard to get the roof feeble towards the end of his part, and took 3 or 4 different like missions out to Scottsdale. We had some altercations with the homeowner and just had to like wait around for hours to find the right opportunity. And he did it once, but his foot came off, and then we got kicked out. And it's just loud, so you get one attempt. And
yeah,
it was a cool feeling when he got it done. And that comes a little bit before his banger, which happened on the last day of filming. And Clay is fucking awesome. And like, I didn't expect him to do it as quick as he did. He got up on the roof, and he'll typically take his time and like visualize it and like really take his time. And I've been more than patient, and it's, everybody has their process. But this day we had like 10 homies watching and fucking 3 or 4 angles, photographer, the whole 9. And Clay just got up there and was like, good. All right. And then he went and did it. And it just, the vibes were immaculate. Those like final sessions are so special. There's one picture in the credits you can see is after he lands it, and we're all standing around, Chadwick's in it, blah, blah, blah. It's just like cool to have those moments.
Yeah. And
like the motivation that comes from everything wrapping up and like the premiere date being real, then it's like, oh shit. Okay. It's go time. It's called banger season,
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I gotta say, Clay seems like he'd be a cool dude to just hang out with.
He's the best.
From seeing his video, from his part, and then the intro where the whole Eminem thing comes out, I was like, this guy just seems like a cool dude.
He's the best. Yeah. And just makes you feel cool. I don't know what it is. It's because he's cool, and he's very confident in what he does, and he's just been holding it down forever. Like when I was a young baby just learning about BMX in Arizona, we became friends at Glendale Skate Park, and I think at first place I met him was Goodyear. But yeah, Clay and I's relationship goes way back. Same with Robbie. He's right next to him. So Robbie's the next part, and his banger is a tire ride to rail hop at this hospital. Really cool setup. We were out there for something else. I think Clay's wall ride was right there. And then Robbie goes and explores no matter where we are. And he found that. And then I get a text from Clay, get over here. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. And I show up, and he's like, I'm going to do this. He had to battle so hard for it because it's a long tire ride. So you got to have the right side to side balance before you hop. And there was a couple where he's committed, and he had to bail off the bike, and he spider monkeys onto the pillar and like slides down. I was like, damn, Spider-Man. And he battled. He like messed his foot up pretty good, and then ate shit I think 3 or 4 times before pulling it. And the last one we had to wait 45 minutes while he like figured out. He stripped a stem bolt, so he had to borrow somebody else's stem, and just like a Frankenstein bike situation. But he pushed through and fucking did it, and vibes were high. That was great.
That's awesome.
Then we got Joey the other fun fact about that one is Tony Maloof already did it. So Tony, it's going to be in 12:35 in Tony's part. And Tony saw it, texted us, let us know. And then we all were kind of like, still putting it in, dude.
I actually was going to ask you about this topic.
Yeah, the NBD rule, as we've all gotten older, it's kind of like, unless it's like super egregious, then whatever. Like it's fine. We're too old for this shit. Too old to not show what we did. So.
I think it's also a thing of, it doesn't matter how old you are, unless you are egregiously seeing that someone did something and purposefully like, I am going here to do it because I saw you do it, and or wanting upping it on purpose because of that. And I'm not counting saying like seeing someone do something and being like, oh man, that just inspired me to do like even better. Like if you're inspired by somebody doing something and know you can take it to the next level, I think even that is it. I get it. I get why someone would be upset and their ego would be damaged, but you got to be happy for people too at the same time.
100%. Yeah. It's intentions. And it's crazy to think that there actually are people out there that want to do shit like that. Go, oh, Nathan did this, so I'm gonna go there and do it better, or which is impossible. You can't do better than Nathan Williams. But
I have a story about this that I'm going to tell because this one pissed me off when I saw it happen. It was a kink dealer appreciation weekend at Ray's, and Doyle was they were filming a video. Daryl was there filming a video of them all at Ray's, and Doyle is trying to 180 turn down the spine, and he doesn't get it within a couple tries. Another dude does 180 turn down to something else before Doyle can even land his 180 turn down. And I was like, that right there is why no one has ever paid attention to you and why no one ever will.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. That's so funny.
Like,
it's funny,
you serious?
Dude. Montana Ricky sitting on this couch said that you should do that. I'm like, no, you shouldn't. No. What are you talking about?
If you're sitting beside Doyle and you're like, he's like, man, I'm thinking about 180 turn down in that. And you're like, well, if you try it, I'll try it. Okay, sure. Yeah, that'll be fun. But if you're just watching someone who's a guest at this event and is a pro try something and you're like, oh yeah, watch this shit. And you go and just intentionally one up them. That's the same thing as seeing like Stevie Churchill, truck driver El Toro, and you're like, I'm going to go double truck it just in his face. Like that's... it just shows you're an asshole is all it is.
Dude, I haven't seen much about El Toro in a long time.
I think
it seems like for a couple of years there, it was fucking everybody's doing something on El Toro.
Is it totally shut down now?
I remember there's like a fence at the top now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Awkward.
I wanted to 180 pegs that and then go over into the stairs, but I think it's too tall.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Either way, I don't know about El Toro. Maybe somebody can let us know. But let's keep going with these standout clips from each section.
I love it. This is fun. So I got the thing memorized. So now we're moving on to Joey Mada's part, and that's just sentimental all over. Interesting tidbit would be, let's see. A lot of them, it's sentimental shit. Like in the first Mediocre, the second clip in his part, he does a massive wall ride in this crazy ditch. And I had the idea, like, let's just go to that ditch. And he one-upped himself and hit the same thing. And if you watch the video, the drop-in before he does the big wall ride in the ditch is him from the first video. Same drop-in, same spot. And then it cuts to the modern version where he's wearing different clothes, obviously, and he goes and pedals during the wall ride instead of just doing the wall ride. It's like not that crazy or whatever, but very special and sentimental, especially connecting to the first one. And then his banger is also special to me and to him because it's a pocket wall ride setup.
Yeah.
And
I remember it.
In the first video, there's a grate, and it's the same spot. It's just got recently constructed or renovated, and so they took away the grate. And his idea, he wanted to go back to that same spot, do the pocket, and then land in the grate, but crank flip into the grate. And that didn't work out because they completely demolished it and rebuilt it. And so it's the same spot, but it's a different trick, and it's buck to do that wall to wall. And yeah, it was beautiful. Worked out fucking very nicely. It was like everything worked in our favor. We pulled up and it was raining, and then he's like, it'll stop. And then 10 minutes later, it stopped. Barely catch the sunset, and that was the last clip that Joey and I filmed. That was surreal feeling, just like realizing, okay, that was it. That's the last clip we'll film.
Yeah.
It was like bittersweet, tons of feelings.
Yeah. Dude.
And then it was fucking edit mode.
So the old clips and new clips in his part had me not able to tell. It made me in the VX made it so that I wasn't sure how old a lot of the stuff in his part actually was.
Yeah, that's the magic of the VX. It'll make something 6 years ago look like it was filmed yesterday, unless you know. Most of the stuff in the beginning with the frequency in the background is all throwback, and then the first modern day clip is him attempting the heel clicker and messing up,
Yeah.
and then me laughing at him. And then from there, it's pretty much all, like, during the actual part of all the music is all new. And then if there's something old, like after his banger, I show the original one and play a little bit of tunes from his first part just to throw it back even harder.
So if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Like if you've been a fan of Joey, you know, and if not, then you just get a nice fucking crash course of how awesome he is for the first, you know, minute of his part. It's like, what the fuck? Heel clicker into that bank, the crank flip heel clicker, everything is like, what the fuck?
So good. And he tapped
He's
into
special.
some super greens universe stuff with the rain will stop.
Yeah, for real.
It'll
He's
stop.
enlightened, man. He's done psychedelics, I'll tell you that. Okay. Moving on, we got Dimitri. He was the special ingredient that made me feel even better about this project because I've been a fan of him forever. We never got to film together. And then I don't know how it started, but 3 months ago at this point, I was like, you should film a part. And it was like 3 months till premiere time. And he put that entire part together with me in a matter of, like, I don't know, from January 1st to, I think he filmed his banger fucking a week before the premiere. So from January to March 15th, he managed to put together that part. And I think the clip that gets the most feedback is the Drop Smith.
From Through the Thing. Is that in the intro?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's insane.
Dude. It is insane. I pulled up the spot and he's like, I was like, you want to do what? And in my head, it worked a lot smoother than what it looked. Like, you think just dropping from like my height isn't that bad, but when he goes to actually do it, you know, he got a flat tire, fucking, it's hard to aim. If you see the top of it, it's a skinny tire ride with very little run up, and it basically was a drop to Smith stall, but he did move. It was like stall, move, and ride away. And he's like, does that count? And I'm like, yes. I don't see you doing it any better than that. That's plenty good, man. And that was cool. That was a cool. Dimitri, the story is, I remember asking you in the other pod of like, what's your biggest fuck up?
Yeah.
Dimitri and I, first time filming, first clip we're going to film, he does a 360 toothpick manual 180 into the street. And that was the first thing that we tried to film. And he was going at it for a long time, to the point where we needed to take a break. We take a break, and then he gets motivated pretty quickly. And he's like, all right, I'm going. And then I'm like, cool. And I turn the camera back on, point. I'm like, please, God, please start recording. And then he does it, lands it, and then it starts recording. And I was like, Meech, I missed it, man. I'm sorry. No. And then the next time that we filmed, I'm filming him do a 360 into a fence, and he's battling for it, ate shit a bunch. And then the one time he lands, I'm walking with the camera and I kicked it. So like mid 360 is just wobble. And I was like, fuck's sake, dude. So we're off to a good start. And he shout out Dimitri for not getting too mad at me. And we managed to pull it off. And you know, once you do something once, he can do it again. He's a writer.
Yeah.
So it all worked out, but we had a rough start, and we had to go back for the 3-tooth Manny 180 3 or 4 different times to that spot. We got kicked out the second time we went there. The third time he couldn't do it, and then the fourth time was like 10 days before the premiere, and he made it happen. Fucking A, dude. It's crazy.
Wow. I mean, just the fact that you put the pressure on yourself and everyone of having a premiere date before the video is like done.
Mm-hmm.
When I did it, I didn't even like contact the movie theater until I was done filming, and all I had to do was edit it, and I was trying to get approval for it to premiere.
Yeah, that was my idea. I was like, this is my third premiere. I'm going to do it right this time. I'm going to finish the video and then get all the merch and get all the DVDs made. And then it comes time, and it's like, I don't know what it is, but there's something magical about that pressure where it's like everybody kind of knows, like, all right, it's happening.
Banger
and then
season.
Banger season. And then for me, the pressure of editing and I think on March 1st or something, we're at a spot. Maloof turns to me. He goes, "Hey Bob, it's March," and I'm like, I start having a panic attack. I'm like, "Fuck!" So at that point, it's like barely started editing, or maybe halfway. And then it's funny how long it felt like the video was nearly done. Like it was at 90% done for like 4 weeks, and then it's just all the details and all that stuff. So after Dimitri's part, we got Josh and Hayden. Josh Bagar is a powerhouse and one of my favorite human beings. His clip, his banger, he does a gap over a water fountain to Smith, and it's remarkably close to a wall, and he's just a big, powerful dude. So it was a pretty dope clip, and that's probably my favorite standout one. The fact that he like does a 4-piece combo on his pegs, like a feeble 180 feeble, backwards Smith, cab Smith, and then he lands and he just bulldozes a tree. It's just fucking.
Oh God.
That's it's a little baby tree too. It makes you like kind of wince of like, oh, poor tree, but also fucking Josh is a powerhouse. He's a tank. Yeah, he's the man. So Hayden filmed all of his shit by 2020. Like his part was done by 2020. And then he moved back home. But he's special because I think that you could do the tricks that he's doing, but nobody can make it look the way he looks. He's got a weird kind of springy, loose style. I just love how it looks when he does stuff.
Yeah.
His standout clip, I'd say he does the wildest. It's early in his part, first or second clip. And he does 180 onto a curb to fakie nollie crank flip to fakie, and then he half cab crank flips into a bank. But the way his feet go when he does this half cab crank flip, it's as if he's doing like a triple crank flip. Like his feet just go fucking wild. It's like, you know, when somebody does a good opposite whip and their feet just go like Casey Starling's oppo whips are just fucking sick, like NBA logo type vibe.
Yeah.
And yeah, just Hayden could do the simplest shit and make it look cool. And I like that a lot. And then we're veering into the I Got Work section with like Chadwick and Ballman and Lufa. And the special part to me of that part is our friend Joey Torres, a.k.a. Ditch Set, passed away a couple years ago in a freak accident. Just like not his fault at all. Like on the back of a golf cart going in between bars, being driven by like a taxi driver or whatever. And sharp turn, he falls off, hits his head and dies. And it's just like the fucking tragic.
No doubt.
And
That's crazy.
To have clips of him and use a song that they had used for him in the second I Got Work video, which is a local Arizona thing, and the sentimentality of that meant a lot. And Lufa shouting him out. And the other notable thing, so R.I.P. Joey Torres. The other notable thing in that part to me is the brief interlude, an interlude of Lufa where we goofed around at the basketball court and just did trick shots or whatever. And I had gone to see Asteroid City. You like Wes Anderson movies?
If I knew it was a Wes Anderson movie, I mean, I've watched a bunch of them. I like what I've seen.
It's good. And we watched it together in the movie theater forever ago. And I always wanted to use it because the sound was just cool. It's like ringing bells. Ding, 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 ding. It's when this cute ass little alien comes down from the sky in the movie, and it's just like fucking magical, majestic. And so Lufa's majestic in my eyes, and using that song for a little interlude, that was cool to me. And then in that part, Matt Ray's 540 cab double bar spin is the ender of that part. Whoa. And that was in his shadow edit from 2019. And I didn't have, so I put a watermark on it. I put a big ass shadow logo and said property of Shadow 2019.
That's awesome.
And that's pretty funny. Then we go into the second Friends part. No, after that it's me. After Matt Ray's banger, it's my part. I'm pretty stoked that I made it funny at the beginning with a clip from a podcast that Ronnie Bonner was talking about how Miles and Bobby are just fucked up. Or like perfectly fucked up to make great videos. And then Fudger says, all the best videographers are out of their fucking mind. And then I cut to me walking back up the stairs saying, I have really breathable socks on right now. And that just cracked me up when I was making it.
That's funny.
And the one that got away for me is a big slider. It was really hard to juggle being an editor getting drunk, working on this video, editing, filming everybody, but then also put your fucking helmet on and go do a banger. It's like I just couldn't get myself to do it. And so that'll be on my list of shit to do. But it's a very scary. I got hurt trying it, top speed down a ditch, through some stairs, slider. So that's the one that got away. But I'm pretty happy with my part. Thinking about it, I'm like, I had 7 years, and that's the best I could do, But
I mean, as an artist, you should never fully.
Yeah, you'll never be satisfied.
Yeah, you should never be, but you won't ever be.
Yeah, true as hell. After me, it goes to Morty, good old Chris Mortensen, who I'm mad at for not coming. He had some excuse that, I got work. I'm like, this is never going to happen again. Like, this is your part in a video. You could watch it in a packed ass movie theater and you're just opting out. It's crazy to me. But that was a fun one to make. I don't really have he did a drop in Apache Junction for his under that I was very impressed. It was just me and him, went on a solo trip, and he's like, whoa, dude, pull over. And then I was like, yeah, right. And he got up there and he fucking did it. It's not too crazy, but I don't know if I would do it. It's a scary, you're stalled in a disaster, put your feet on the pedals and drop in. And Morty's not one to do crazy stuff on a bike, but he pulled that shit off. And then his laugh is very contagious and just almost inappropriately laughing after the fact, just like, ha, ha, just stoked. So pure joy.
That sounded like a Wes Anderson movie laugh,
Yeah.
like something that would be in that.
Ha! So yeah, shout out Morty. And then, after Morty, I think it's Friends. I thought I had it memorized.
That's okay.
I think it's Friends.
That's
whatever.
Right.
I don't. Friends. I'm stoked on Brock Rayford saying mediocre at best, but he said it wrong the first time, and if you spell it out, he said meaty or a cat, and I like that a lot. Meteor cat, blah, blah, mediocre at best, bitch. Catfish being in there is special. Rat Boys in the friend section.
Dang, that's awesome.
Morgan Wade is in there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Justin Spreet, Ethan Courier, fucking Justin Benthian. It's a star-studded cast, It's always been fun. The friend section has always been fun because of the fact that like anytime a pro team comes to Phoenix, I've been the plug for a long time, so it's cool to have that kind of immortalized in the friends part. I feel bad that I didn't get every single rider in Arizona in it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It happens.
There's a second friends part that I call the hitters part, and that's Danimal, Brian Baker, Chandler Golden, Josh Wingate, and Chris Boswell. And it's, I think, the heaviest section of the video, except for Nick's. But it's more like Nick's pretty tech banger stuff, but like these guys fucking off of roofs and big ass rails. Like this is the heavy part, the hitters. Yeah. And I think the clip that sticks out for me in that one is Danimal does a Smith off of a dumpster, off of a roof, similar to Clay's banger. First try, no warm-ups, just fucking savage. Wow. Danimal has whatever it is that, like, that button, I think everybody in that section has that button. And not everybody has it. I don't have that button where it's just like turn off and go. I don't have that. Especially anymore. I've pushed through it a couple times in my little career. Button. Yeah, the Gerber button, the last guy in that part does the craziest shit, and he's just so low key. Like, I didn't even know that he was like trying to film. He would just be on a session and then point to a roof and be like, I'm gonna go off of this. And then he'd get up there, he'd look at me, give me a thumbs up, and then go. No fucking run-ups, no nothing. And it was a treat to get to film him.
Wow. So
that's special. And then you can see his Chris Boswell in particular, or Chris Ray. I forget which title I put in, but he's got multiple monikers. You can see his kid grow up from the first clip to the last clip. His first clip, B-roll, he's like holding his kid right here, and he's real small. And then by the last clip, he's riding a bike with him, and it's just like, whoa, time just keeps on going. Geoff Wescott is next up. His section is the best edited. For a long time, like, he wasn't happy with his footage so much. So, like, if it was just just writing clips to a song, I don't think it would be that crazy of a part. But whatever I did storytelling and fucking lots of tightly edited, and really proud of how that one came out. And I think putting in his banger is like clips from his wedding that I was at. I filmed some shit at his wedding of him kissing his wife.
Oh yeah, I remember
all that stuff. And that comes in after all the writing, and that's special. It was a surprise for Janice, and I'm pretty sure that made her night at the premiere. Sentimental. Yeah, fucking A. I'll tell this story. He does a half cab off of a roof, which was 2018. I am in what could be the lowest point of my life, just literally drinking all day. And that day, I drank all day. Like, I'm talking like a bottle of wine to warm up, and then, beers and liquor, just being at home. And Wescott happened to be in town, and he's like, let's go get this. And I'm like, where are you? You gotta come pick me up. And then we go to this Church's Chicken, which is where this roof is. And he's like, okay, we just got to wait for them to close. What do you want to do? And I was like, let's go to that fucking bar over there. And then just more drunk, to the point where when he goes to do it, he's got a buzz too. He's fucking phenomenal at writing while buzzed. And I'm standing there and I'm so drunk that I don't zoom. I just kind of like hold the camera there. And it's the worst filmed clip in the whole video, which is still did a great job, because even my worst is still going to be great. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just looking at it and cringing. Like, I couldn't use any of the celebration because both of our eyes are just fucked, like just completely shabbed out. But somehow he half cabbed off a roof after several drinks. And that's a special story. I've never been that was easily the drunkest I've ever been filming that clip in particular.
That might be the most optimal time to crash if you're gonna fall off a roof.
Yeah, just loose. Like that's what they say about car accidents. Like, if you let it happen, you're good. Injuries happen when you get all tense and try and save yourself.
Absolutely, that's exactly how that works.
Pretty special. So then after Wescott, we got RJ. And RJ's notable clip is a wall ride on a roof, like a wild building structure. Looks like a support for the building out front. And it's a slope, 45-degree slope-ish, skinny. And he, without any modding the spot, he would hit it. And then he hit the wall ride, and it's like a 10-foot drop with 0 speed. So it was just wild to watch him attempt it. And he's got the button big time. Like, even if there's no camera, he's just like, well, fuck it, I'm going. And so, yeah, watching that chaos. And then that was the one that got away. That happened 5 years ago, and he never landed it. And then we're coming up on finishing the video. It's banger season. It's contagious. He's like, let's go get it. And I'm like, all right, buddy. And this is like literally 6 days before the premiere. And I go meet him. He mods the spot with a little bit of wood this time. I'm like, this is going to work perfect. We're just catching the sunset, so it's beautiful out. And 4 attempts in, he lands, and he's always quick about getting back up. But this last one, he got up, and then he's like, oh no. And then looked at his foot and started holding his foot. And he's like, Bob, you got to grab my bike. I'm going to get out of here while my adrenaline's still going. I'll meet you at your house. You got to take me to the hospital. It's like, fuck. So he like tore a couple ligaments. He has to have surgery. And just like the ultimate bummer of like thinking that you're going to like redeem your. He was not too stoked on his part. Like, he knows he could have done more. Life got in the way with a lady and kids and everything. So nobody to blame. And he's just like, man, I wish I did more. Let's at least go get this. That'll make everything cool. And then he's going through hard times anyway. And then has to have surgery now, and that's expensive. And it's just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's a low. But yeah, RJ's really fun. He's a legend. He moved out here with Brian Hisstand in 2015 or something. I don't know his lore. I'm gonna do a podcast with him. But
okay.
Yeah, good guy, RJ. Shout out RJ. So then after RJ, we go into, I believe, Troy and Dean, and editing their part was the first section that I started to work on. And Troy came over, and we decided on the hung up Madonna song, which is genius. The shout out Troy. Troy's got a finger on the pulse of the culture. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was, but I think it was a last minute decision to split their part, Troy and Dean, because I don't think either of them were like too stoked on everything that they got, but together they make a hell of a video part.
Yeah.
I think my favorite clip of Troy is a foot plant 180 down a gap, and it's just a good spot, good trick, fucking steezy ass Troy. Troy's damn near the GOAT of mediocre. He's been in every single video. He's been on the stage all 3 times. And the first video, it was like his breakout. The Lightworks part that he did is his magnum opus. And then this is like his kind of retirement party. Like you reach a point in your writing career where it's like you've been having these high standards, pushing yourself. And then when it's kind of like coming towards the end, it's just like you start appreciating the smaller stuff and not beating yourself up and fucking just enjoying the whole process. And Troy and I have become damn near best friends over these years, which is fucking awesome. If not best friends, he's definitely closest dude. So I love that clip. I also, what's another good Troy one? He's the motivation for there's a bunch of like John Cena clips and little B-roll shits in their part. That's just like pop culture-ish, and that's all Troy. He told me what to do with Josh Bagar's part. Did that. I did it same thing with his part, with like hitting a home run after a banger and all the cool shit. That's all Troy. And yeah, big fan of that. I do have the fucking video memorized towards the end of oh dude, my favorite clip of Troy. He does one-footed nose up a bank across a flat and then does a little peg chink 180 off the end, and it's just so swaggy, so cool, so good sounding, and with the ramp slow-mo, it's the perfect. It's up there for like favorite clips throughout the whole video. And then Dean
rules.
Yeah, he's the best.
I met Dean at Ray's like a decade ago, and he was just awesome.
He is. He's like the best personality. Fucking always. It's crazy to think back to the early days of filming with him, but he moved out here from New Jersey in, I don't know, 2009 or 10, and I was just impressed, very impressed with Dean. So to have a bike hop clip was special to me. He opens his part with a bike hop through a tree.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's a stunt man. And then to follow that up and finish the line with the G-turn that he does, like over the ledge, is fucking very impressive. So Dean's the best. And then this next one for Dean would be the hand plant, his banger, which is just solid and very cool. He pulled it off very nicely. So then we're moving into, I believe, Zack Beerley. And
another person I met at Ray's who just blew my freaking mind. It was before he moved out there.
Yeah.
Like a few months before. And just the ease he was doing very, very difficult things.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Yep. He's fucking dialed. And watching him, literally grow up. He moved out here early 20s. And then by the time the video's done, he's already put out a full length. He's got sponsored and hosted events and jams and all this stuff, and just seeing him kind of become who he is now, and still much more to grow. Like if the proverbial torch was to be passed, it's like, here you go, Zach, your turn. Fucking hold it down. And he became Trip's godfather, and always like he's had Trip over the course of these past few years, like for months of me traveling, and he just loves Trip, and Trip loves him. And I think my favorite clip of Zach, my personal favorite is like, I think the opening one. He does it's a cool, weird apartment complex with like flat rails, and he does a line where the first part he does tooth hanger 180 over and then rolls out, and then I meet him around the corner and he does opposite pegs to over tail whip, and it's just filmed perfectly, executed perfectly. Fucking he daps up Trip afterwards. I'm just like, that's fucking beautiful. And then he's quick. Like there's a little Spanish kid at a different spot that says, "Mediocre at best." Like I try to get him to say "mediocre at best," and he goes, "Mediocre at best." And then Zach, without missing a beat, Zach goes, "That's pretty close," just like encouraging him. And so that's in there. That makes me happy. And then his sentimental shit, where it's like I included his girl, who was with me on a session filming him, and I pan over and she's just nodding of approval, and I'm happy to have that in there. Shout out Kara. And then I brought the VX to his premiere of his video called Burning Up in 2022. And to have that be involved is very cool.
From it.
I cracked myself up. We were at the spot. He's getting frustrated. He's doing a nollie tail whip and then wants to truck into this bank, but just can't get himself to throw the bars. And to the point where I just screamed at him. Casey Badger was on the session. I was like, "You're embarrassing yourself in front of Casey Badger, dude," because he had just gotten on kink. And Casey's a kink legend. That's one of my favorite lines in it.
Funny.
Yeah, so that's Zack. And then Nick Bond, incredibly to me. He came aboard my little world during Lightworks. I invited him to film a part, and then he really like brought Lightworks together. And his riding is just phenomenal. Like, there's no denying he's the best rider in Arizona. He's, I think, arguably the best street rider from Arizona ever.
Dang.
You could say Kevin Peraza is a better rider, and that's true. But it's like pure street, Nick pretty much is, yeah, he's the king. His part's special because the second song is the same song that I used for the first promo. And that dude making his part, where it's that song, which is so fucking in my heart that it gets me emotional every time. I'm desensitized to it now, but making his part, I'm crying almost every time I work on it. I'm like, this is exhausting. Like the credits starts playing after the banger, and I start tearing up and just fucking, because it's the same credit song as the first one. It's just a lot of emotion. Full circle type shit. And you can see in the beginning, the first clip we filmed together in 2009 all the way to the last, like, we filmed, we stopped filming a while ago, maybe a year since the last one. But yeah, Nick's standout clip would be, I don't know, I think my favorite is the first drop in the second song. He does feeble manual tire ride 3, and it's cool because I'm filming it from an angle you can see all 10 homies that we're with in the background, and the reaction was sick and genuine. It's just pure tech, precision, danger, talent. Nose manual 180, the wedge long ways in the intro.
Oh, that was crazy.
Spectacular. Yeah, it's just like, alrighty. And that's 2019. That's the same day I did my banger, the fakie rocket manual bar spin thing. Yeah, he's special, dude, and it's so cold and calculated and just good. Like, he's legitimately been riding every day since he was 12, and it's fucked. You can tell.
Yeah.
Even back then he was really good, but it just kept getting better and better and better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. Yeah, that's a nice little run through.
Yeah, there you
even
go.
something like that takes forever. You know what I mean? Like, fucking
imagine making it.
It's too long of a video.
Well, it's cool to hear all of your favorite parts from the whole thing, and anybody who's seen it will be able to imagine those parts, and anybody who hasn't seen it can go and watch it based on hearing about all the good and crazy and sentimental and all of that throughout. Did anybody go to jail?
Yeah. 2 of the dudes in the hitters part, I think. So Brain and Chandler have both been to prison.
I mean, like, from filming, not before that.
Yeah, I think most of the clips happened after they got out.
Yeah, I mean, like,
they did go to jail, technically.
I mean, like, because you were out filming, someone ended up going to jail.
No, but I'm sure there's many nights where it's like, we should be in trouble, but we're fine. Like, I really can't think of a situation where we got in serious trouble. We had lots of run-ins with, like, we got kicked out by cops several times, but at this day and age, dude, the cops all know what's up, and it's like, we're adults, we're not doing anything too crazy. If they pull up, we're hiding the beers or we're hiding the weed, and fucking, it's all good. It always works out. It's fucking wild. It's amazing. You treat the police with respect, they kind of respect what you're doing too, and they understand, and we understand. It's like, yes sir, we'll leave, I understand, but here's why we're doing it. We're working on a video, and everything works out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's Joey Cobbs who always brings up, like, the idea of if the people who work at these schools that everyone rides at could see some of the stuff that has happened like at nighttime while they're not there and while it's closed, they'd just be like mind blown.
Yeah, for real though. That's a cool thought. It's just like there's a teacher that walks past a 22 stair handrail every day, not thinking twice about it. Meanwhile, Garrett did tuck no hand or did ice pick down it type shit.
Yeah, they have absolutely no concept of BMX at all, or would never even. It's just a rail to them that helps them not fall while they're walking down the stairs.
Yeah, man, normies, you know.
Normies, that's it. That's what.
Which is the majority of people don't get it. Dude, this is a fun flex. I am at a client's office the Wednesday after the premiere, and this young, hip girl comes up to me that works there and was like, I was at Phoenix Am. I know you like BMX. Did you happen to go to that cool BMX event that was happening there? Like, it was a packed movie theater. And I got to stand there and be like, that was mine.
That's so cool. Sick. That's why you're paying me.
Yeah, for real. It's been a not difficult, but an interesting thing to try and explain this to normies of just like, yeah, so it's an hour. And they're like, how long did it take? I'm 7 years. They're like, why? I'm like, well,
why?
You go out for a whole day and you might get a 5-second clip of one person. And then you have to build out a 4-minute section of those 5-second clips. And then riders get hurt. I get hurt. I'm over it, blah, blah, blah. Like over the course of, to really break it down, it's so crazy to do. Like it's too ambitious and pretty much that's why it just doesn't make sense. I can't do it again. Like I want to do it again for this feeling of getting everybody together in a theater, but like there's got to be a better, more efficient way.
Yeah.
Like I can't do this again with saving everything for that long.
Yeah.
But yeah. How would you explain this shit to, pretend I'm a worker at Sonic and I'm asking you Sonic drug. I haven't thought about Sonic in a minute. Hello, sir. How are you? What are you into? Oh, BMX videos? Cool. What's that like? How do you describe it?
Man, I would just explain it that I go out and I am obsessed with learning new tricks on my bike and progressing. And part of that and part of my experience of that is videotaping it and then putting it together later to watch all of these smaller moments of achievement together all in one place. And then if I was explaining a full length video, I'd be like, and now imagine that with 8 to 10, however many other people doing the exact same thing, except I'm in charge of filming all of their moments over the course of 7 years. And
that's a good way. I think I'm going to take that.
By all means, it took me 30 seconds to come up with it. And then this video that we're talking about is the culmination of all of those achievements and failures and moments put together from 7 years of time with these people in one place. Magic. And it takes me back to when I was trying to get approval to premiere my video in an actual movie theater. And it was so funny. The lady emailed me and was like, do you have anything that you can show me from the project that you're trying to premiere so that I can approve the content of it, like to know that it's okay? And I was like, well, it's not done all the way yet. I haven't finished editing it. And she's like, oh, that's okay. I only need to see a minute or two.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll send you a minute or two, but like, I don't know if you have absolutely no concept of what, if I was anyone else, could be in this video.
Yeah, for real.
And could be playing in your movie theater.
Yeah, she's just told to check it out. And she's like, all right, I'll do the bare minimum. Like if 1 minute of the movie's fine, then the rest of it can be just crazy porn.
It was so funny too, because I had maybe like one section done at that time, the start of 2. So I just put them together, uploaded them as an unlisted video and sent it. And it was just like an immediate reply back. Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is great. And I'm like, you guys really, right. And like copyrighted music and everything. They just don't care. It was $300 something. And I could, because it was COVID, I was allowed 50 people, which would have been 100.
Yeah.
And that was, they don't pay anything. They just show up and they get their special little ticket that says special event on it, and they get to go watch it.
I think that's the best way to do it. Like I've been to so many premieres where you're standing for 45 minutes and it's like, I fucking hate this. I'd rather like just give me a seat.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a premiere, I'm lucky because this place, Phoenix Center for the Arts, is a movie theater, but it's also a stage. And it's not a traditional movie theater. It's a double decker, 210 seats. Fucking so sick. Then the screen drops down and projector and all that. But it's so low key. Like it's just this kid named Cadell that's running it, and then one tech. And so the only person that was staff is one person, and he's up there running the sound. And
yeah,
all the fears that I had of like, I can't bring my dog, everybody's gonna drink and get in trouble, and no trouble. I brought my dog. The tech was stoked. Like, who's this guy? And I was like, he's the star of the show. And then I'm getting calls from everybody. Can I be YOB? And I was like, if you're low key about it, yeah. I think everybody has their own flask. So like, and it was standing room only, and it was packed, bro. Like 210 plus maybe 75 people.
Wow.
And it was everything that I dreamed about for 7 years, and it's such a crazy feeling. One of my favorite thoughts that came from it is after I crash out for a couple days and sleep and then wake up and then I'm driving to go get food or whatever. I'm just like, the world's still going, you know, it's just another Tuesday. It's such a trip to go from like peak human experience to just, all right, now I'm Bobby on a Tuesday. I got to get back to work. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Back to normal. What's next?
Yeah.
What was the process of getting it ready? Because I know when I was getting ready for the premiere, they wanted a DCP, like the digital cinema package that like movies deliver. And I was like, oh my God. And I had to export all this crazy stuff and put it in a folder and whatever. And I emailed it to him, and that ended up not working. So we just plugged my laptop into an HDMI screen on one of these giant projectors for a movie theater. And I'm like, this is my laptop desktop on a movie screen.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I didn't get told to do a DCP. I just did the laptop. So,
nice. Which
is cool because then I could export it at fucking maximum bit rate.
Yep.
It's a 30 gigabyte file, and I don't have to compress it at all and then play it. And ironically, the text was pixelated on my super mega cool export. And then I had to tinker after the fact and unnest a couple sequences, and then the text was fixed. But I exported in like HD because the VX footage is 480 720, which is insane. And then I just up-resed it to HD and export that, and then make it full screen, connect to HDMI with an aux cord, and bump it. And that way, like, I could run the whole premiere. We had local kids submit for a film festival contest. Zack Beerley fucking crushed it, making trophies, like sick trophies for, you know, best filming, best spot use, overall rider, all this shit. And it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, there's a really strong scene here, and everybody's really good. I had so much guilt. I started feeling like panic almost when it was time to get the ball rolling. I became prima donna Bob, not prima donna, but like let's fucking go. And the plan was to play all 10 entries, but they're 3 minutes each. And I was like, I don't think we have time or the attention span. So like, if you want an award, your video plays, and I'm sorry if you didn't win an award and your video's not going to play. And thinking back, I'm like, fuck, you know, but I think if I did it again, I would do the same thing. But it's just sad that, you know, shout out Joel and Connor and the Union Hills kids and everybody that didn't get their shit played. There was a promo for Jarrett's video that I wasn't too big of a rush and locked in that I didn't play that. I just like, once the little contest part was over and we gave away the cash, then it was like, all right, game time. Let's everybody on stage, let's take a picture and start this fucking thing. Cause I was like, it's so long. I think people are going to leave halfway through.
Yeah.
They did not. And the best compliment I got was like, that didn't feel like an hour. It felt like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. And I was like, fuck yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. All the editing paid off.
I could definitely see feeling the anxiety of like, I can't play 30 minutes of other videos ahead of my hour and 20-minute video and talk about every single one in between and keep people here for 3 hours. Like, I could see that feeling, and it just makes it a thing of like, if you ever do something like that again, even if it's just a film festival and premiering videos and things, it's like, it's like how it used to be difficult to get an edit on to different BMX media. You had to have a certain standard. It's like your video has to be good enough for us to play it at the film festival. And it's not a knock against you. It's just that's the level of quality and the standard that we're holding for this.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I think like renting that theater and doing a premiere, and I don't even have anything, just like do another contest for the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
A yearly thing, and that means you don't have to put all the time into making a video. You can focus on making the event like awesome. And even if you can get more people involved or bigger prizes, you give a frame away, you give a camera away. I bet you could get a camera company on board with something like that, or
100%.
Just some type of equipment to help someone with their video journey. That could be awesome.
Yeah. I like that idea a lot. And then
you can have that one too.
Talk about like a banger season. If you're working on a project with your friends, but then all of a sudden you hear that a theater's being rented for a video contest and you could submit if you finish it. It's like, all right, boys, we got to finish. And then you don't have to pay for the theater. Damn, son, let's do something like that. That I'm into. That I don't have to work on for 7 years. We could do that.
Yeah, and it's just a cool way to bring everybody together again without needing a full-length video that you made to do it in a yearly event that people now, okay, you did one, now people hear, oh, we're going to do it again, then we're going to start working on our video like now and make things happen, make it the best it could possibly be.
You heard it here first, folks. Get your fucking videos done and we'll premiere them.
Go. It sounds like you have a pretty big scene to be able to have that many people make that many videos.
Yeah. I mean, we're sitting here in January and trying to figure out how we want the premiere to look. And at the very first Mediocre, we had a very organic, it's called Phoenix Massacre video contest. And I was like, we need to do that again. And I think the way we did it the first time, it was like the loudest reaction in the theater means you win. We should have done it that way. But we assembled our council, the council of elders, me, Clay Johnson, Troy Blair, Robbie Digital. And why am I blanking?
The other one.
Yeah, the other council members, Zack Beerley. I think that's 5. That was our council. And I was so wrapped up editing that I was like, Zach, you're in charge of this contest. And so like submissions went to him. They all talked it over. I barely had input on like who won. I just raised the money to give away. And I think like $1,000 cash is pretty sick. And it motivated the hell out of a bunch of people. Like David Anderson submitted 3 different videos. he filmed 3 different videos. And I think one of him. Might be 3 or 4 entries to where it's like, I'm going to win that $1,000.
That's awesome.
And then the goddamn bottle kids come through and take the cake.
So
it's just like objectively the best writing, and the skit was funny. But as far as crowd reactions, dude, shout out Team Indigenous.
You could do a hybrid thing, do a prize for the judges and council. And then on the night of, or even say like, we don't know who's going to win because we have what we say, but also crowd reaction and tell people ahead of time to get it the loudest for the thing. But no voting, because voting people will just bring their own posses. Exactly. That happened when we did Odd Couple at Ray's one year. It's like Sponge and I had a section that Victoria filmed, and we only told our parents to come, so we didn't invite anyone. And then we show up and there's these groups of people who are in it who brought entire crowds of people to vote for him, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was like that.
So it's not about the best writing, it's a popularity contest.
And I think it's a cool thing that you're doing, and more people are going to get on board with it. And even like I don't know if you would have seen it yet, but there's this place in Iowa called the Nar Barn. And this guy, Mike Porter, it's on his property. It's a sick ramp setup in a building. And he just announced a video contest he's doing where each state gets a group of riders, like 5 people. And so if you don't get there before someone else from your state does to like sign up for this thing, you don't get, basically, I don't think you get to be in it, but you basically are going to his spot for a whole weekend, and you can stay in the camper he has there. Like, drinks are provided. You'll be able to ride all day, all night for the whole entire weekend to film your video. And then you got to edit it and submit this video. And it's $6,000 of cash for, so first is 3,000, second is 2, and I think first or third
is 1. Yeah.
1. And it's just this awesome concept that he was like texting me, asking me all these questions about if I thought anybody would sign up for it. And I'm giving my best advice, because when you think about a contest, a video contest, it's like, man, it's hard to get people to do anything.
Yeah.
And when I saw him announce it, I saw instantly Seth Allen shared something saying they got a team. And I saw another people tagging their team. And it's like, this is about to be a really cool thing. And if you do an annual, or if you just keep doing the video, like BMX film festival type thing, who knows what could happen.
It's fucking awesome. I stole film festival from Moto Bunka.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just so sick. It's the piece that's missing. I think, like, as far as sharing our shit on the internet, I think we all got that covered with our little Instagrams and TikToks and YouTubes. But something about a big screen surrounded by real people in real life cheering for you is fucking it's incredible. I don't know.
Well, there's a reason why film festivals grow so big in the movie world and short film world. And so I see no reason why, if this is marketed correctly, I see no reason why you couldn't get outside involvement, where between videos, a commercial plays for a company and they give you so much money that you get to put towards whatever you want for it, and to build this into another thing where you might even have people from other sides of the country submitting a video and like, I'll be there kind of stuff. Yeah.
That was our one stipulation. At first it was like Arizona only. And then I was like, okay, Southwest only. And then I was like, you know what? The whole world can enter, but if you want to win the cash, you got to be at the premiere. And then I was like, maybe people will travel. Yeah.
Great rule for that. And it makes so much sense. I'm honestly excited for the potential of that idea continuing.
Pretty cool idea.
I might have to try and make it out or something, since I helped spawn the idea.
Yeah, dude.
Be there. I could be on the council.
Get the fuck out here. You could be on the council.
While I got you here, and since we talked about the video for song, talk a little bit about the podcast. How's the pod going?
Pretty good. I paused while I was editing. There's no shot.
No, I saw that you paused on that. That would suck to keep going.
To keep going and then tap back into. It's hard to switch modes. Be a podcaster, talk about BMX, and then also, all the things.
I get it. I live it.
I'm very proud of how far it's come, and the fact that, like, partnering with Dig for a year was incredible.
Yeah.
Actually getting sponsors and doing that was fucking sick, which I need to, like, have a new conversation with all of them. And like, all it takes is like a day of just active outreach. And there was a good period of time where I was like actively like looking for outside of BMX sponsors that I could bring in. And the numbers aren't that crazy. So it's not like crazy big money or anything, but the little sponsors all add up. And like, it's not like I'm doing it for the money, but at this point in my life, it's about time to kind of make the most out of whatever I'm doing. I don't want to stop. I still remember the feeling of starting and how exciting it was to just set the camera down and talk and be like, whoa, this is crazy. It's like recorded. But at this point, we're so used to it that it's an interesting skill set. Whenever I'm in front of a camera nowadays, it's just, you just ignore the camera. It's fucking.
Isn't it crazy? And I bet you can't even remember when that change happened.
Yeah, just gradual. It's like you get used to it, and the podcast is pretty fulfilling, and especially if it's going well. Like, you and I have been talking for 5 hours now, and it's going very well, and I've enjoyed it because it's not a drag. There's some episodes, man, where it's just like, this is a drag, but it's worth it when you get the good conversations. And when else, I've never sit and talk to a friend like this You know what I mean? Like I do talk with friends, but never for 2 hours straight.
Really?
In a continuous stream of thought. No, I'm like I'm a introvert. Which is an interesting side note. I've probably said this before, but I learned that the dopamine reactions in your brain for having a conversation with somebody, an introvert versus an extrovert. Extroverts get a tiny drip each conversation. It's like a tiny little boost of dopamine or serotonin or whatever the chemical is. Introverts get a massive dopamine dump. So if I talk to one person and have a good conversation for 10 minutes, like I'm good. I'm good for the rest of the day. I'm all tapped out. But an extrovert would be like, all right, give me more. And that clicked and made a lot of sense for me because like if I have a good conversation with one person, I'm like, that's enough conversation for today. And so to force myself to sit and be locked in and be actively listening and ask good questions and do my best, like it's pretty dope. Feels cool. And I've gotten to know some of my own friends better because of this.
Yeah.
It's such a trip, dude. It still doesn't feel real. Like people comment like, you're this fucking sick, dude. And I'm like, what? You guys are out there listening, you know, and it's like 1,000 listens. Average is like 1,000 on audio and 1,000 on YouTube. And if you think about that, that's a fuckload of people. That's
right.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Think about so that in terms of the theater.
Movie theater. Exactly. Yeah. 3 of those fucking movie theaters is nuts.
Yeah.
And then it's an honor to be able to talk to fuckers like Edwin De La Rosa, dude. Get the fuck out of here. And, you know, Vinny Salmon, Ralph Sinisi, the street dogs I've always looked up to. And then who else? Fucking Garrett. I got to interview Garrett fucking Reynolds.
Yeah, you bastard. He told me he'd do mine and then did yours.
I think he did something similar with Unclicked and then ended up doing them. But
that was funny.
Yeah, that was a treat. Fucking A, man. Yeah, I like it. It's a lot of work. I have an episode with I say it's a lot of work. It's not that much work, but it's time consuming.
It can be work if you really care about it and you want to put the right attention into preparing and also it is hard to, unless you're 100% engaged, like both of us for this whole 5 hours have just been locked in because I can tell we both just genuinely are caring about what we're saying back and forth. And none of this has felt like, oh man, like, I can't wait till this is over and he stops.
Go ahead. Talk about your stupid video, Bob.
But I know that you can relate. So this is a funny thing that I think only people who do podcasts can probably understand, or people who have some type of platform or thing that people strive to be a part of or whatever, is that you love whenever you have an idea to talk to someone and then you go to them and they're like, yeah, I want to be involved. I want to be on the podcast. Sounds good. But, and you know, somebody else, you might, if you had the idea, be stoked to do a podcast with this person, but because they came to you and asked to be on your Not you, dude. Not you. Not you, because obviously we've been having a good time today.
I'm saying you, dude, to the person who's asking.
Yes, like it feels like, it's like you told me to do the dishes and I was already going to do them, but now I don't want to.
Bro, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is like, my dad used to be like, Robert, take the trash out. As I have a fucking trash bag taking it out already. And it's like, you just took my steam away. Like, I don't even get credit for doing it because you asked me to it. Yeah, exactly, bro. There's been a few where I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then I do it and I'm just like, I shouldn't have done that.
And that happens.
But yeah.
I had one where the dude hit me up and I had a couple where people have hit me up and like tried to get me to have them on. And a couple times where I just ghost the person because I'm like, yeah, fuck you. But there are other times where like the one dude hit me up and he basically gave me the pitch and the concept for the whole podcast out the gate as if he was like planning my own podcast with him
we're gonna talk about
me.
This, and we could talk about this and we could talk about this.
And I was like, I basically took it and I was like, I'll do it, but it has to be my idea or my concept or I'm not going to care at all.
Yeah.
And so I morphed it into something else that involved a little bit of what he wanted to talk about. But it was like, if you are coming to me with your idea of what I should do with you on my podcast, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. you should just do your own thing then.
Yeah, do
Like,
your
what
own
the fuck?
podcast and
Yeah.
talk about what you have to say. But like the one dude that I was saying before, it was like I just said as an F you to it. It was the guy came to me, and I don't even care if he hears this and knows I'm talking about him, because he came to me and literally made it seem like I owed it to my viewers to have him on my podcast. And it was
Yeah.
my responsibility. And I was like, one, I don't even know who the hell you are. And two, get out of my DMs.
Yeah, it's the entitlement that a lot of people have. It's like, what do you mean? Why? I've never met you. You've never really done anything in BMX, but you've been a fan of BMX, and therefore you should be on this podcast. Is fucking wild, dude.
And it's fine that you feel that way, but
Is it? No, it's not funny.
I mean, for them, whatever. But it's like, I cannot force myself. If I am not emotionally or personally invested in this idea, I can't force myself to come up with things to ask you and to keep someone else entertained for 2 hours because you want to be on the podcast. It has to be intriguing to me.
100%. It's like that's the only requirement is like the host should be interested. You can
Yeah.
tell so fast. Like I've worked for several real estate podcasts, and it's just phoning it in, dude, asking the same exact stock questions
Mhm.
and literally the same responses, no matter what they say. It's just like, epic, man. Anyway, what was your biggest struggle getting into entrepreneurship? It's just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Holy shit, dude.
It helps. I don't know if you might relate to this too, but I absolutely hate small talk for the sake of small talk, where it's
Mhm.
just, I'm just going to ask you random questions that I don't actually care your answer to just because we're here and I don't want it to be awkward or whatever. And it's like, that
Yeah.
translates to podcasting too. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I'd prefer to get deep. I'd prefer to ask why you are the way you are, and like just the questions that kind of intrigue me, of just like, I'm genuinely curious why you think that you have the button. Like, how are you able to just turn off fear and rational thought and send it down a 20 stair rail? And the answer is the same always. It's just I want to do it, so I turn my brain off and I do it.
Dude, so when I lived in Columbus, Gerber was trying to help Jake Colson. I don't know if you've heard of.
I know both them names.
So Colson was a young kid when I moved down there, and he was learning to ride, and Gerber's kind of mentoring him. And he was talking one day about how he was like teaching him to have the button, to like teaching him how to turn off the fear and stuff. And it was almost weird because he kind of just like, in that conversation, I was hearing him say that, and the puppy dog in me was like, "Oh, I want to learn." And he was like, "You already have it." And I'm like, it just kind of, I was like, what? I don't understand. But he's kind of just like, he was just like dismissive of the fact that like, you can already do it. Jake, like, he's learning, and we got to teach, and I got to just teach him how to turn that fear off in the brain. But it was a real thing, and it was interesting to hear the concept of him teaching someone else.
Can you remember any of the shit that he said, like specifics?
Man, no, unfortunately not. I do remember the exact scenario that it was, though. It was at the Flow 3 skate park. There was a wedge Euro gap, and there was another wedge that was on top of that we kind of turned into a step up, but it was a Euro. So it was basically like a really close rail hop.
Huh.
And Jake was kind of scared to try it. And Zack had already done it. And honestly, I was kind of scared. That's why I was like hoping he would tell me.
Let me hear this.
Yeah. And so I just remember him talking about it in that moment, because Jake was kind of freaking out and talking about getting over the fear of things, and it was a switch, and you got to learn how to turn it off in your brain and do it. And we all ended up doing it, but
I'm so curious about what the actual advice is, because like, how do you
hit him up?
What'd you say? Yeah, I know it's Gerber's one on the list that needs to get on
He'll
here.
do it.
Sure.
We've done many podcasts, and
Yeah.
he loves talking. It's just sometimes it really does feel like when you get into certain subjects, the government is listening and they shut off our internet and stop us from talking. Like, there've been some times where we've been in some subjects and we both just like lose connection. It's like, what is happening right now?
Your CIA agent said that's enough. The censor said
They
that's
send the
enough.
text, shut up right now.
Yeah.
He was
What's
the one.
one?
Go ahead.
What's one thing you've learned, because you've been doing the podcast for a long time? What's something you've learned in general, either about yourself or something interesting, or from talking to all the people in the industry?
Oh man, that is honestly so vague. Like, it's broad of a question that it makes it hard to pin one thing down. Learning things from people.
I'll give you mine as an example.
Yeah.
Like I learned that everybody's just a human. It really humanized everybody. All my heroes are just people like me who have done great things. And it's like, cool. It evens it out. You take everybody off a pedestal, and it's just like that's Van. That's Van Homan. You know, he did his thing and he's still doing his thing, and just that's Van. You know what I mean? Like it's a cool feeling to try to humanize all of our heroes.
Yeah, that's a weird one that I have always had, where I've never ever like looked at any person as like a larger than life.
Even when you were younger?
Never. Well, I remember telling you, like, all my heroes were people I rode with.
True, yeah.
On a daily basis. So, and because of that, I didn't watch videos. So, like, the day that Sponge and I were at an indoor park and Chris Doyle and Brian Yeagle walked through the door, he's like, "Is that Chris Doyle?" And I'm like, "Who?"
Yeah.
Or
that's interesting, yeah.
Or the first time that we had a video, the first edit we made, and it got posted to the Come Up, and when he told me when we sent it to Adam, because in those days you just sent it directly to Adam's email address. Yeah. He said, "Put this in the email. I bet something that this guy's biceps are way bigger than yours." Talking about Sponge. And so Adam posted it and said, "The email with this one said, I bet this guy's biceps are way bigger than yours." And it made me want to like it. And luckily it was super good. And next time we go to ride after it gets posted, he's like, "It was pretty cool to see what Adam said about our video, because that guy probably sees a lot of videos." And I was like, "Who?" I'd forgotten already. So it was like, I didn't have these people in my eyes that
worship no idols. Good for you.
It just was a natural thing. And so I think that just progressed over to even like musicians and everyone that I look at, I just try to treat like I would treat a friend.
Yeah.
I talk to everyone the same.
That's the way it should be. And it takes some learning. Like when I was 16 and I saw Drew Hosselton, I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, "Oh my God." And I don't know what you think back then, but it's just like, everybody else always has their shit together and they're always way up here.
Yeah.
And you get to meet them and hang out with them, and it's like, oh, it's just my buddy Drew.
Yeah. And I've had my moments at certain times where, like, I'll give the first one. When I first met Scotty and he knew who I was already.
Yeah.
That was like a holy shit moment, because Scotty was one of like the only people growing up that I really did see videos of and just be like, "Oh my God," because I even had on my MySpace page, "Scotty Kramer is the best BMX rider ever." And,
hell yeah.
And an edit of him,
nice.
HTML like coded into the thing.
Sick.
But then, and if he hears this, is going to be embarrassing. But this past winter, Seth Kimbrough came to Raise, and I was waiting in the bathroom for a stall, and I look over, and I'd already met Seth at Swamp Fest, and I did an interview with him, but I look over and it's just Seth standing there. And I was like, "Oh shit." And he like gave me a hug in the bathroom at Ray's. And I was just like, in that moment, I was just like, holy shit.
Seth Kimbrough just hugged me.
And because I loved the band that he was in so much.
Man, Seth is prolific. Seth's special.
Yeah. So to go back to your question, if there's something that I learned, a lot of industry related things I've learned through my podcast, but if I had to pick one specific thing through all of this, it was to just get out of my own way and shut up.
Nice. Like during the podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've heard so many people like acknowledge that about my podcast, and just that, like,
Just
I
know
like
when to be quiet. Let the fucker talk.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and there's nothing that's more annoying than when somebody who's a podcast host just constantly cuts off their guest, has to interlude their 2 cents into every single little thing.
The Bert Kreischers.
Oh my God.
Everything's about him. So it's like,
Oh my God.
I got
this.
one. I got one. Let me tell my story now.
You're not going to believe this. I think we're the same person. That's why I can't listen to him.
Just literally just waiting for his turn to talk. That's no way to go about it. I don't know how that fucker's still like doing great. He's pretty lovable. It's pretty hateable. Bert Kreischer.
I am the machine. I liked that movie. I can't lie.
What's that?
The Machine. I liked that movie.
Oh yeah, it's so good. I love Bert Kreischer. I went and saw him live. He's hilarious.
We did too.
Very very fucking annoying on podcasts, but still the best.
I can't do it. I listened to like one or two. I listened to when he had Tony Hawk on, just because it's freaking Tony Hawk, and they talk about Ohio Dreams, which is an indoor like park place. It's not the same name now, but it's a half hour from where I live. And he talks so highly about it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Has doing the podcast for you felt legitimizing in any way?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about it like that?
I thought about it in terms of like, if I had done it intentionally to just get more eyeballs on Mediocre at Best II, and then just quit now, it's like brilliant.
That's funny.
I tricked you bastards into paying attention to what I'm doing.
Good one.
Yeah, I think I always have self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and it's just keeping on doing it is proof to myself that I am doing something that, like, it's not like I always, when I was younger, I was like, I want to be somebody in BMX. And then when you get older, you kind of realize it's just like, it's about what you're doing, and you can be somebody or whatever. And it's just like, I've done enough now to where the imposter syndrome is not there, like, as far as, you know, being me in the BMX world. And yeah, legitimizing, I think the most validating shit was when Dig reached out to partner on it. I was like, get the fuck out of here. What? Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you could have talked to Edwin for 2 hours or 3 hours before doing this podcast? And do you think that it would have like been the same, you know?
No, it gives you the excuse to have a conversation, because otherwise Edwin and I aren't crossing paths. It's not like we're going to do a phone call and just get to know each other. Like,
yeah,
it's a different dynamic of a conversation that I think is more normal now than it was when podcasts were just starting and everybody has a podcast, and all the memes about, oh, you have a podcast, bro? Cool. It's just, it's not that cool anymore, but
yeah,
it is. And I think I've improved as far as being able to speak with somebody, which is cool. But yeah, super validating, super legitimizing. The feedback that I get when I get it is fucking awesome. Because, dude, a lot of times it's just like talking into the void. Like, you have the conversation with the person, but like, I'm not seeing who's listening. I can't see you in your car hearing this or sweeping your floor or whatever you're doing.
Oh yeah. And
that's weird. It's like talking to a one-way mirror. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's people behind the mirror, but you don't know who or what they're thinking or what they're doing. But they're there.
And I'm sure you've had the situations where you find out that a certain person listens to your podcast or watches your videos or whatever, watches your videos about my own stuff. But
shout out Stu Johnson. Stu Johnson will pop up every once in a while and say something nice about a recent episode, and I'm like, that's fucking nuts.
It's
Stu Johnson's listening to my podcast.
Ever.
Yeah.
When you have those situations happen, you're like, no way.
Yeah. You're a BMX nerd? Okay, cool.
Like, no freaking way. And I wish
I'm a nerd poser, man. I'm not a BMX nerd.
No.
I've been calling everybody BMX nerds, but like when it comes down to like knowing what parts are coming out from each company and what the geometry does, or even paying like a lot of attention to old videos or new videos, even it's almost too much. That I'm more interested in the people. Like I think it's very, very, because everybody's human and everybody has something special about them. But like you can only ask, hey, what was your first bike? So many fucking times. Like, talking about BMX can get pretty old, but talking to a person will never get old.
Yeah, dude, I've avoided that specific question, or like, how long have you been riding?
Bro, every time I ask it, I'm like, oh.
Why did I do this? Kill me now. Oh my
Well,
God.
I was young, and then there was a neighbor that had BMX. My dad took me to the track. Oh, so you're a racer. That's why you got the bike control. Like there's a certain BMX conversation that you can have with literally anybody. It's fun.
Yeah, well, you do that at a party and it's great, but in a podcast,
yeah,
maybe,
no thanks.
Maybe not.
Um,
it's funny to have these conversations with someone else who does it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fucking rare. Talk about a niche within a niche within a niche. Podcasters within BMX is a very, very small crew. Did you watch the Friends part yet? I put a little Fudger got a clip, and then I put a B-roll clip of his face, and I put second best BMX podcast host over it. Just take a little fucking little jabby at Fudge Pop.
It sucks for you to put yourself at third.
He came back with the same shit. He was like, "Who's first, Dennis?" I was like, "All right." I know you got the joke, motherfucker.
That's so funny.
What other ones are there? So you mentioned Matt Bischoff.
My own? Of mine? Or Matt Bischoff?
Other BMX podcasts. Backbone, you, Unclicked.
Matt Bischoff isn't BMX. He does a Survivor podcast.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. So Backbone, Unclicked, me, you.
Snakebite was a thing, not anymore. Palaver.
BMX in Our Blood was a thing.
What's Trevi Sicklock's one?
Oh,
with LaShawn.
Oh man, I can't remember. There was a couple that were here and there. What are the okay? Let's talk about active ones.
Yeah, me, you, Unclicked, Backbone.
Yeah, and here and there, the BMX in Our Blood will do one.
What about Bear Cave?
The Beer Cave.
Fuck, what's his name? Then there's Traction Coffee Co.
That one.
The HVX Goat
He hasn't done one in a long time.
Okay.
I recorded one with Mike from Traction while I was in Colorado, and I'm hoping that it comes out this year. It was a really awesome conversation. In terms of, so the All Things BMX show is more of a racing focused one. I did that one recently. They have you do that one and you're like, oh my God, I need to get my shit together. Mainly just because of how organized they are. They at the beginning doing their sponsored ad reads and just super professional, very
That's what's up.
Organized.
I wonder how much they're making.
I have no idea. But it was a fun one to do from someone from an outside of BMX perspective.
Yeah.
Or outside of freestyle perspective. Yeah. I think that's about it though. Unclicked, you, me, Backbone, and sometimes the BMX in Our Blood will post a random one here and there. If anybody else does and we don't see it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, fucking comment below if you're still with us. Fucking tell me about other podcasts that we should know about in BMX.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some small ones.
It's tough because it boomed a lot when the BMX in Our Blood first kind of kicked and started going, and then a ton of people started them, and then it kind of faded, and that's when I started mine because I noticed that it kind of faded, and you did it. And a bunch of other people coming in, and it's I feel like most of the legends and really well-known people who are willing to do a podcast have done it and told their origin stories. And now it's down to people just being creative or having real or focused conversations.
Yeah. And just being consistent. I don't know. Even with this little break, I think the consistency is worth it. As far as you can reasonably count on one every week from me, especially when I'm on it. I did 65 weeks in a row, just more than that.
Damn.
2 years in a row. Especially when it was with Dig, I had the ultimate pressure. And talk about it becoming a job, dude. It would be Sunday and I'd be freaking the fuck out, and then record one Sunday night, edit it Sunday night, post it Monday morning. Whew.
Yeah,
Phew.
That's a job, but it's sick.
It's so sick. Yeah, it's very cool. And it's if you could take the current status of mine and show it to me at 29 years old when I first started it, be pretty stoked. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
Fucking cool.
Have your like views about things changed at all through the conversations that you've had?
I
know that's super general and broad.
No, I mean, let's see. I think my perspective on the industry and the companies has gotten more accurate because it still was like a distant, intangible thing. And then talking to so many people in the actual industry about the backstories of how this one started or how much money it takes to start a bike company and the risk. And like for, you know, Moeller, Ronnie, Robbie, it's not like they're in it to get rich because this is not the right industry for that. It's because they fucking love BMX and like you have to make money. So it's not bad that they do well, but it's like they would be doing it if there was no money involved either way, which is very cool. And the recent one that I did with Ricky that's not out yet, probably out now if you're listening to this one, it's very, very elucidating. Is that a word?
I have no idea.
Elucidating.
Let's find out. Is elucidating a word?
The word elucidating means to make something clear or explain it in detail.
Damn, look at you. Kanode knows.
Yeah, getting a more accurate perspective of like the numbers, and a lot of BMX brands are straight up loss leaders and a tax write-off for a bigger company.
Oh, dude.
Like, it's sad.
It is sad, but here's something that I haven't talked about publicly yet that I think is going to bring a whole new perspective to a lot of people. So, you know, the whole rider-owned thing that people talk about?
Yeah.
And people are just like, rider-owned, it can only be rider-owned. What about rider-funded companies? That is I feel like rider-owned could be totally meaningless unless we really look into who's funding this stuff and how all of that works. And I'm not saying we should at all, but if you knew some of the craziness that goes on when we talk about the six-figure type numbers and people owing people money and how all that stuff can happen and people getting screwed over in the deep, there's like the BMX industry that we all know and we talk about. And then there's another BMX industry underneath of that no one knows about. Yeah. And I only hear about it because of the fact that I'm connected with certain people who are deep in this and they talk to me about it. And it's like, dude, rider owned is a great thing and whatever, but almost no one, if you could say no one, is rider funded.
Yeah. It's like, where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from, huh?
And it's fine. It's totally fine. But no one who doesn't, like, and the people who are rider owned, like, none of those guys are out there touting other than the fact that they'll say they're rider owned as like a selling point. They're not out there bragging about the fact that they ride and they own a company. It's the other people who are saying like rider owned and whatever. But if any of them actually knew, like, that it doesn't actually like mean anything more than a guy who rides or used to ride owns a company and all this money comes from somewhere else. Like,
yeah, exactly. You can definitely own a company and use only other people's money.
And everyone like has to a certain degree. And this only came up because I was talking to Carl Hinckley at Nowhere BMX on the phone, and the rider owned thing came up, and I was like, yeah, but who really gives a shit about rider owned? Let's talk about rider funded. You are probably the one of, if not the only, or one of very few rider funded companies where he's not ever going and getting a investor. It's all credit card debt in his own name where all of the risk is on him. And if it falls, he is going into financial ruin because it's all on him. And that is something that I think is so much more admirable than when just some random dude on the internet is like, yeah, well, Sunday and Odyssey aren't rider owned.
I think it is admirable. I think it's also stupid. I think if you have the opportunity to either put your entire financial well-being at risk or use other people's money, let's use other people's money.
Oh, yeah, that's what they talk about with good and bad debt. And when you're in the world you worked in, you totally understand all of that. And I just think it's funny.
It is admirable, though.
It's funny when people discount a company because it's not rider owned. And it usually comes with, like, the ones who have actually been progressive for BMX or really support BMX get the pass, but no one usually, like, clarifies why certain people get the pass. And it's like, this company gets no pass because they're not rider owned, they're not rider funded, and they do absolutely nothing other than, like, sell shit.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I don't know if I would do it. I could see you doing it, starting a company.
Honestly, I don't know if I could do it either. And just with Alienation, the fact that they've made all these parts that I've had that input in that I talked about earlier, to where I don't have to. It was like,
yeah,
I had the idea for brakes, and all of the ideas that I ever had went into them, and now they exist. It's like, I don't have to take the risk. They did it all.
You ain't got to do nothing.
And I just get to ride them, and it's sick. And my name is associated with it. And to think about the fear of, like, doing it all myself and making that happen is terrifying.
Yeah, for real. I don't know yet. I could just see myself getting way too burnt out. Like, if BMX is this big of a part of my life already and I could feel the burnout a little bit, then probably should not start a bike. Because then talk about jaded. That's next level jaded. If you're just like in, I don't know.
And that is where, like, certain people become jaded towards certain companies that everybody loves because everyone doesn't know about those lower levels of people getting screwed over and deals that were supposed to happen but didn't happen, or this guy doing this to this guy or saying that. It's like, there's a whole nother layer that nobody knows about, and there's certain reasons why certain things are the way they are, and you don't know it. And if you get involved with that world, now all of a sudden you're in the middle of a warehouse where the floor is eggshells, and you got to try and make it to the garage door that is the heaven of a successful company on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, and fucking, we touched on the tariffs thing, but I think that's coming through hard. Like, what I heard, I won't name my source, but a pretty good source, saying that Taiwan, the tariff used to be 3%, and it just went up to 32%, which is insane. And, like, they have to find a new place to source all their bikes from, and the whole industry is going to be facing some serious problems in the coming months. I'm like, damn. And so that's all the reasons not to start it, jaded, versus the actual reason of, like, what are the odds that you actually succeed, and what does success even look like? Do you make a profit of 50 grand a year? It's like,
and what's the work? Tough. How much work does it take? Is it worth it to make that 50 grand a year, but you're killing yourself in stress and no sleep and all of that? And I don't know the specific percentage numbers with tariffs. I literally did a whole podcast with Moeller talking about this stuff, and he talked about duties calling kind of synonymously with tariffs, and then I had people saying duties and tariffs aren't the same thing, and blah 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 blah. And so I don't know, but my perspective on it is, until you see the bill for your parts coming over here from Taiwan in the shipping container go up that percentage, like, don't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I even just saw that the Nintendo Switch 2 is delaying their pre-orders to see what happens with tariffs. So that they can, I don't know, I'm assuming to be more informed with their pricing and whatever might happen with that. But there's so much uncertainty right now that I think anybody who says anything as a matter of fact is just, they don't know yet.
No, yeah, you can't know. I think that, what's the word? Logically, or whatever the word is, I think that long term it's going to work out and be good for America. Short term, people are gonna have a pretty hard time.
Yeah, and that's what I think people who are educated in this topic are saying, and is what makes sense. I don't know. We're gonna find out, but
Yeah.
it's a crazy time, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the BMX world with all of it. And I would say on the concept of like making your own company, I feel like the only way right now that it makes sense, unless you already know that world, is if you are the like John Courts who already can weld really good and you make it yourself personally on your own equipment, and you can build the demand from that.
Is John Court's metal bikes?
He made
Solid?
I'm pretty sure he made the metal bikes. He worked at Solid. He worked at FBM. It's Work BMX. He makes all the Nowhere BMX frames. He makes Tech Bike Co., Majide, Terry Adams companies.
Sick.
He did all the animal frames. Like, and it all started from him getting equipment and building frames on his own. And then he had the reputation and the resume built out already, basically, that
Solid.
he's solid is on his resume.
Hey.
But he had that, like, I feel like that is the only way that I could personally make it make sense for me, is like if I had the knowledge and I was a machinist and I was making brakes
like DIY as fuck
in my garage.
Okay. And the other piece is like I would if I did it, which I'm doing technically with Mediocre merch and stuff, shopmediocre.com.
Show us that shirt.
Shopmediocre.com. Get
Let's
yourself
go.
one of these. You can get it in orange, blue, black, or white. It's printed on Comfort Colors, which is like my favorite fucking blank that all the concerts that I've gotten a t-shirt from that I love is Comfort Colors.
Is it comfy?
So good. It's colorful and comfortable.
You want the shirt to be the most comfortable shirt so that people put it in their wear pile and not in their I wish I could wear this because it's not comfy.
The worst is when you buy a shirt that shrinks up and becomes a crop top.
Yeah. That's not going to
crop tops
happen.
are in, dude. All the little hipsters are fucking rocking crop tops. Shout out Colton Klein in Tucson.
I don't think I want
But what I was saying is like it just can't. I like it as a bonus on top of a living that I'm making elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like then I'm not depending on it, and then I'm not doing things just for the money of it. It's like it felt so good to take this video and everybody's saying put a digital download. And I'm like, here it is on YouTube for free.
That's
Please
awesome.
just watch it. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I think on that note, I think that my motivation there is I just want to do the riders justice, and I did with the editing. It was like a fucking love letter for each dude. It was just, I love you so much. This is the best I can do.
Yeah.
And then like the best thing that I can do for them is just maximize the amount of eyeballs that see their footage. And so the distribution has been fun. Like I surprised Robbie and Clay by sending their parts to Colt, and it came out like the day after the premiere online. That was cool. Same with Zack Beerley and Kink. I talked to Jay, got his part over there. Nick with Animal. And then Troy and Dean are going to go on Our BMX. And I'm in talks with Dig about releasing like the hitters part there.
That's sick.
Shadow Sabrosa, Dimitri, his part's going there Monday.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, distribute the parts. Keep the full video. I was like, I should get to Dig or Our. And then I was like, no, I should put it on my channel. You know? So it's been fun. I didn't realize how much fucking work would go into after the video's done, but here we are.
Yeah.
I gotta cut out some sections after we're done here and make some social clips and thumbnails.
The whole idea of like selling video is something I wrestled with a lot when I made one, and I asked a bunch of people if I should sell it or just give it away or what I should do, and what I finally landed on was like, I'll sell DVDs until people stop buying them, because basically what it boiled down to is like your time is worth something, and getting back something for your time, at least to just cover that, you should be okay with
time,
that.
skill, effort, everything.
And so I was fine with that, and I sold like 70 copies or something on DVDs that I hand burned, which was awesome.
Fuck yeah.
And so it's cool that you feel like you're in a place where you didn't need that, and you were able to just like you could look past to just putting it out there, getting
Yeah.
people's parts on the companies that they work with, which is an awesome approach.
Yeah, somebody
sure.
was like, "Did you sell them?" And I was like, "Oh, I could have, huh?" for like a couple $100. I just free
Oops.
content for all the boys. Fucking yeah, we made $2,000 profit from the premiere.
Nice.
And it's like, it's hilarious to tell my dad that. Just like, so how much did you make? I was like, we made $2,000 profit after 7 years of work. What's up?
Hit me up for all your business tips. I got
and
you.
I took all the boys out, spent $500 on dinner, so $1,500 profit.
That's so sick, dude. Seriously, that's the way. That's awesome. That's getting people psyched and bringing them together, and just doing good stuff for your scene is great.
Yeah, it feels good because I remember obsessively watching at 16 years old Voices and Can I Eat, and hopefully, probably this could be some kids' voices or Can I Eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you pay attention to other full-length videos that come out in BMX?
I don't have the attention span. Like that's why I'm like, this video's too long.
Yeah.
I do. I love them when they first come out, especially going to the premieres, like Kink 30. What's another recent full length? Anything Alex Donachie does, I love. But it's one of those things where I'm not at the point where I'm watching it twice. I'm watching it once, loving it, and moving on. Like watching riding doesn't do it for me anymore. I would watch something for the editing. Anything Rich Foreign puts out, I love watching, obviously for the writing, but also just because it's a Rich Foreign piece.
You like seeing bugs?
Yeah, I love bugs and the fucking hands, and like he's evolved to, it's almost like music video, short film type shit in between, and just it's very, very cool to see.
It's a great genre in the BMX video space.
Yeah, facts. Who else? I think anything Kramus puts out is so well filmed that I gotta watch it. Maloof.
There's still people
shit.
making really awesome videos. When Daryl Taco makes a trip video or something, it's
beautiful.
just very well done.
Yep.
And I appreciate when someone puts that attention in. And it's funny to think back to the come up days where you had to make it, like, your video edit better be on the level of like the best video parts in terms of video quality.
Yeah.
Or you're getting roasted. You don't have a slider? What are you doing?
Anonymous comments. Woo, those were the days.
Bring them back.
It's like we all check our likes now, but back then it was like check the come up comments. And
well, that's
fucking
people were more honest then. You were able to, like, instead of people just talking shit behind your back, people just talk shit anonymously behind your back right in front of you, and you could know how people felt. And I feel like that's almost better than just fakeness on Instagram and gas emojis,
but then text the group chat like, this fucking idiot, you know?
Yeah, like, be honest, be real with each other.
Something about having your name tied to it. I actually did it today, and some unrelated to BMX stuff. There's some drama going on with some media buyer, and I chimed in. I said, this guy's a sociopath, and then immediately deleted the comment. I was just like, it's not my place.
Been there. You post it and then you delete it right away. And that's why you have to take such a curated approach when you do that kind of stuff, because you have to you have to basically protect yourself from anyone being able to say anything.
Self-censor.
And it's crazy. And yeah, it's whatever. How do we make it more viable to make video parts in BMX again? Is it even possible? Because the way you talked about your experience of video parts is like, I'll watch it once, I'm not watching it again. I'll maybe go to the premiere. Like, are we beyond the days of it being a viable thing for people to do?
I don't know. I think that I'm not the target market anymore. I think
who is?
If I was just the dude who just learned 180s.
Is he even watching it? Because all he's doing is scrolling through Instagram.
Scrolling Instagram, yeah. I think that, and like from what I understand, you post just a regular pro riding video, and it gets 2,000 views on the biggest YouTube channel, and it's just like, ay. So I think something's got to pivot, and I think more storytelling and more personality might do well. But I mean, there's plenty of that, and then like documentary stuff, like it's just tough. What's gonna hit? You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look at Project X. That
was fire. I loved it.
And I would be curious to know if that
Performed
even
well.
made enough money to pay for itself.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that'd be the idea, is you want to make enough money to at least just pay for itself.
Yeah. And maybe do it again, you know?
Exactly.
I wonder. That's a good question. I think we could. I got a couple of friends I could ask, see if that worked out.
Because everybody says, "Oh, video parts, bring back tangible media, whatever," and it's like, okay, if we're gonna say that, maybe we can figure out a way that it's possible.
Yeah, there's a 300 people in the whole world that want DVDs.
You gotta sell every
If
single
that,
one of
bro.
them a DVD for $10 and hope that you can make that $3,000. Like,
Mhm.
like that doesn't sound like it's gonna cover your video.
Keeps licking one spot.
Mm.
Fucking A, man. It's another 3-hour sesh, huh?
I know. I got a couple more questions I really want to hear your insight about, though,
Hit me.
because I want to know if you've even thought about this. Where do you see your podcast and YouTube channel in 5 years? And think about that versus where do you want it to actually be in 5 years?
I think this is a good exercise. I've never thought about that.
I was hoping that you did, but now we're going to do it in front of everyone.
Yeah. Fuck, it would be cool to make enough money to live off of on a podcast where I interview people. I've talked about this before, where I'd like to expand from just BMX to other interests like filmmaking and business, and just kind of become a little bit more general and things that I know. That's why I called it Kanode Knows. So I'm not pigeonholed into BMX, but BMX is where all the momentum is. But even, talking to you about cameras and videography is the best. I love the hybrid episodes where I talk to the filmers.
Yeah.
I could see that becoming the main thing, but I'm also in such a weird place in life that I don't know. Like I fantasize about doing something else besides videography for a living. I'd like to flex a different muscle, like a sales muscle, just talking to people. I think that I'm good at that. And when I'm generating business, like that's a fucking thrill. So either for somebody else or just on my own, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that I've been doing it for the sake of doing it, and I'll keep doing it for the sake of doing it. Mastroni inspired me to do a little bit more, like more of a show, all right, we're going to review the clip of the week, blah, 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 worst story, blah, 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 all that, which is cool. It takes a little bit more effort, which I haven't. That's the biggest piece for me, is I'm just like, minimize effort. I'm going to keep doing it. And the only way I'm going to keep doing it is if it doesn't stress me out. And making it a formatted show and keeping a spreadsheet of guests is just like, no. I will wing it, and I will have conversations. And if you want to listen, you can.
And it almost sucks that you probably will have to expand to be able to make a living off of it, because there's only so many people who are going to watch a BMX podcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
And all of the most successful podcasts out there are the ones that put in a lot of effort into not only their set, but their guests, and having some type of like format.
You can't avoid. You need effort.
Nobody else gets to become Joe Rogan just by talking shit with his buddies on his couch and progressively growing it through the years. Like, that is so rare that it's not going to happen again for more than just one person, maybe.
Exactly. And it's like, I think of it, it's weird. It's not that weird to think of like, okay, what could I do to blow up, to get more eyeballs? And it's like, be controversial, switch industries, fucking more dialed in show, have stronger opinions, have better guests, bigger guests. But everybody wants to blow up, and there's no magic answer. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like BMX. It's like, if you want to ride, keep riding. And then if something happens, take advantage of that opportunity. But it's like with this, just like, if I want to do it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And if an opportunity comes, pounce on it. But if you got to do it for the sake of doing it.
I am going to make a prediction. I think with Kanode Knows, something is going to pop up that will be outside of Kanode Knows, that you will have some type of opportunity and you'll take that opportunity, and that will be the thing that will reach more people. And then you'll Y into that avenue, and Kanode Knows as a BMX thing will be its own thing. And then whatever that successful road that you find outside will be what hits.
Did you get that from the consciousness dimension? I like that.
It just popped into my head, so probably.
See? Yeah. That's mighty kind of you, dude.
I can't tell you
I
where
hope
this
something,
stuff
man,
comes
because
from.
like I fantasize about doing like a sales job, but then it's like, that feels boring. I want to do something special.
Live
like,
sales job.
Why a sales job? Just
Live.
because. Oh,
live sales job show where it's live and you're streaming yourself doing that.
Sales. Yeah, I could see that. I did something where I did a couple of cold calls on a live stream, and that was fun. That's a dude, especially in wholesaling real estate. You're calling homeowners and being like, "You want to sell your house?" And they say, "No, fuck you." And then you click hang up. You do that 1,000 times.
Why not, pussy?
You can get a $10,000 check if you do that 1,000 times in a row, and you get the one. You know, I think it's 1 in 100 is the going rate.
Man, that's
whatever.
crazy. So I really think that'll be something like that. And I was going to say something, but I don't remember anymore. Crazy. And could you see anything other than just the podcast happening with the Kanode Knows YouTube channel ever expanding beyond that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I guess it is still podcast, but the idea has been floated to me, and I've been offered to be flown out to events and set up like a booth and just have a revolving door, second mic here, and whoever wants to come talk can talk, like a live stream type of deal. Could be cool. I think live streaming is going to be huge. I heard something about Amazon buying TikTok, and so like if you're on Twitch, your lives are going to be seamlessly on TikTok, which
nice.
I want to look into Twitch instead of just going live on YouTube. Yeah, I think live streams are where it's at, and I really enjoy that. I kind of fucked up by like associating if I'm doing a live stream, I'm drinking. And so now if I'm on a dry spell, I don't want to live stream because all I want to do is have a couple of beers.
Yeah.
Have a couple of beers. But yeah, I think live streaming is the future. I could see myself, I mean, I can make any video I want, so I could play with other ideas and figure out a lane there. Yeah, I could see it going many different ways.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's just being open to it, you know? You can't just like be like, no, it's only a fucking BMX podcast.
Well, that's how the outside things happen, is you are open to it and the door is open. Interesting you say you think podcasting is huge, or live streaming is huge and going to be the future, because I stopped doing my podcast live because it felt like when they became a video on YouTube, it just like was hindering it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's valid. Like the live streams are only good until the live stream's over, and then clips from live streams is like the entire algorithm is all just repurposed live stream stuff. And there's something to it. It makes like I watch my girl fucking tune into these fucking brain rot TikTok live streams where it's just the dumbest scum of the earth people
the
being
AI ones.
So dumb. Yeah, you know, the NPC ones, but
yes, NPC.
Not those, but just like little fucking drama ones where it's like, oh, this girl is like neglecting her kids and dealing with CPS and just live streaming all day and making tons of money because there's thousands of people, and just being like just low vibrational shit, man. It's just so dumb, and she loves it. She turns it on and she's like, nothing makes me feel better than having this crazy lady on a live stream as she's doing something else. I'm like, that's fucking wild. But I see that and I'm like, okay, like there's something. Live stream helps people feel less lonely. You can tune in and just hang out with somebody. It's also a very weird one-way mirror type of dynamic. It's like I know there's 20 of you in here and nobody's saying anything, so it's just me talking, and you got to be a certain type of person for that. But yeah, I think live streaming is not going anywhere. It's like where it all kind of funnels to, I think. It's like the final boss of content.
How do you tap in to that low vibration, just brain dead TikTok thing, but with the type of stuff we do? Like, how do you get those people to watch? That's what I try to figure out. How do you get those people to care about BMX and watch BMX? Because they might not buy a bike, but like if they become a fan of BMX, then who knows what it could cause.
It's the personality. It's like, I think Catfish could pull it off and get regular people interested. He's very entertaining.
Yeah.
There's a couple of dudes that just have that. I don't think I have that. I don't think I have.
do either.
So we're pretty bland.
I'm
bland for that type of stuff.
I'm like purpose driven too, where it's like I can't just put it on and turn it on for the sake of doing it.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. Some people can just talk endlessly to a fucking screen, and it's a grind. Like any successful live streamer, they're like, I spent 3 years, 10 hours a day with 2 people watching, and then I popped off. It's like,
yeah,
yikes,
man. I'm waiting for my 10-year moment in July 15th, 2015. I'm hoping that my 10 years of work is an overnight success, and July 16th, I'll be it.
Let's go.
Oh my God. But yeah, man, so kind of what brought us here today was talking about Mediocre at Best II. Overall positive, fulfilling experience for you.
Oh yeah. The best, if they could bottle that up and put it in a pill form the way I felt that night, sheesh, it's better than any drug on earth. I was telling somebody as we were getting more drunk at the end of the night, I was like, I don't think I can feel any better. Like I could drink and then it doesn't matter. Like I'm already maxed, like peaking.
Yeah.
And the feeling of accomplishment, seeing something through that you work on for a long time, the lifelong friendships that come from having a shared goal is huge. And the feeling of seeing everybody feel special for that night, standing on stage, and just the joy and all the hugs and love and hugging my mom and crying on stage. It's fucking beautiful. My dad has been battling cancer for a couple of years, and I think he's in like remission-ish. He won't talk about it very much, but he's still around. And I thought he was dying last year for sure. And to have him sit next to me while Paul Simon, which he played on a CD religiously in the car growing up, so he knows that whole Graceland album, and I took a song from there, put it in my part, and have him see the theater full, be impressed. And then my part comes up and it's Paul Simon, and I get my hand on his knee and just bounce into it. Look at him, fucking, he's smiling, watching it. I was like, fuck, like he wants to see me, do very financially well, which I will, but I haven't so far. And it's just like, that's so much better. That single moment is worth whatever sacrifice that it takes to have that. It's fucking very special. Very cool.
Those are the moments that you remember for the rest of your life that really, truly matter.
Yeah. You're not going to remember paying off your credit card when you're 28.
No.
Actually, I do remember that.
Too specific of an example.
It's just way less important.
Yeah, man. Well, where it's on your channel in full, a lot of sections on different channels that you already mentioned, and everything you just talked about with the positives that affected your life from it. You gonna do another one?
Nah.
Not right now?
Nah. Ask me again in 6 months, but I'm not done with making BMX videos, but I'm done with the long, full length process.
Yeah.
Like I think now I'd rather focus on, we'll see. Right now I'm taking a break for a couple months, but I already picked out a little roster for a 3-person edit that would just go fucking hard,
Yeah.
And more excuses to have the theater and more excuses to have moments like that, but it'll never be as special as that one. I thought, after the first one, I was like, nothing will ever be as special. The second one, This one, I'm like, holy fuck, full circle, so much sentimental stuff and so special. And then at the same time, insignificant. It's just a little kid's bike and we're doing tricks on it. Who cares?
That's amazing. It's crazy too, though, real quick, how fast you can get to a full length in video length with other types of things too. Like I just posted Cornhucket 2024, the movie, last week, and it was an hour and 41 minutes long. Which that's a full length if you really break it down. It's like, well, that wasn't the same thing, and there's other possibilities.
There's other ways to fill an hour than 5 seconds at a time. Only special clips, dude. Fucking A.
Oh well, we just talked to each other for 6 hours straight. So
yeah,
hot damn, go watch Mediocre at Best II. I've seen, I'd say, most of it at this point through all the different sections. Great work. And I'm excited to watch the next one.
Thank you.
Got him. Kanode Knows on Bobby Kanode's YouTube channel. wherever you get podcasts, and maybe I'll make an obligation to upload audio podcasts again at some point.
Fuck yeah. All right, cool.
Hell yeah. Thanks for a whole day of chatting, Bobby. I'm glad we didn't get sick of each other.
Honestly, yeah, this was great. Do we just become best friends?
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks, Bobby. And we'll see you guys next time.
Adios.